Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio and a fine Libations Friday loosey-goosey edition of the program to you and yours. Hope you're well. Thanks for tuning to it. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. Also, by the way, if you miss portions of the show, anything like that, you'll find us. All 3 hours get posted upon the conclusion, both to iTunes, where you can go, rate, review, catch up at your leisure. Also on our website in the audio archive. Email the show if you like, jcs at 979espnradio.com. Find me on Twitter at jcameronshow. WTSM app, good for your mobile devices. Hello, YouTubers. Hello, Periscopers. Good to be with you. Florida State leads Florida Atlantic. Let's start with that. That game going to the 9th inning, or bottom of the 8th. It's update time for that ass. Yeah, you're right. We can use it right off the bat. It's 10-7 in a wild one in Athens. There have been 8 home runs hit in this game. They're going to the bottom of the 8th now. Top of the 9th. I had it wrong. Okay, I had it right originally. Get it together, Cameron. You can do it. The top of the 9th, Florida State batting, leading 10-7. They've pounded out 17 hits. A grand total, as I said, of 8 home runs have been hit in this baseball game. The wind is blowing out, to say the least. You've seen some balls that look like routine pop-ups leave the yard rather easily. So I guess nothing is safe at this point as Mike Salvatore steps to the plate, 3 for 5 on the day with 3 singles and 2 runs scored. Great year for that young man. But Florida State leads this game, as I said, 10-7. So hopefully they can add on here and make it a relatively easy bottom of the 9th as Florida Atlantic comes to bat. We'll keep you updated. J.C. Flowers is warming up in the pen as we speak. You know, it's funny. I don't know why. I said it all week long, and, listen, you get confirmation bias if that happens, and I'm not going to assume that it does because, again, a lot of runs, a lot of hits today. We'll see what happens in the bottom of the 9th. But I just felt like there wasn't a lot of pressure on Florida State and that they'd play loose. The starter today for Florida Atlantic had given up a grand total of 9 home runs all season long. He was their ace. He was their best pitcher all year long. He gave up 3 in 1 inning. Florida State leads off with a single here, by the way. Salvatore's 4th hit of the day, I think. It's interesting to me. They played loose. They've played relaxed. If you just look at their demeanor, you look at their faces, you look at their comfort level in the box. Could have something to do with the fact that the opposing pitcher didn't have it, grooved too many balls. You feel really good about what you're seeing, obviously. I don't know. But they seem relaxed. They seem ready to play baseball.
Yeah, and it's the time of year where Drew Mendoza kind of does that. ACC tournaments in years past.
One was
on a day where there are a couple of home runs where you go, oh, really? I mean, that's a routine fly ball that got wrigglyed, so to speak.
Sure.
Drew did not get cheated.
No, his first one especially was a Titanic blast.
Yes,
yeah,
it was.
He's got a lot of power. That's something that you have been able to rely on him for this year. He has hit the home run ball, and you wanted some more consistency from him during the course of the season, just in general. But certainly, power has not been lacking. The one thing I can say for Florida Atlantic is I rather enjoy their throwback White Sox-looking uniforms that they wore today. But 10-plus miles per hour blowing out. There at the stadium in Athens today. It's a beautiful setting, and it'd be even more beautiful if Florida State was able to win the opening round game in Athens, and they are in line to do so right now.
I think this is a day for the pitchers where it's akin to a windy day at a major U.S. Open, British Open, whatever it is. If you can card a 72, 73, get in the clubhouse, you get the hell off the property. You don't even want to be on the grounds. Nothing is safe until this one's over because Florida State has paced the game. Been 5-0,
they've led the whole way,
8-3. 10-5, and it's just FAU does not go away, but there are only 3 more outs to get.
That's a pretty well-hit ball, and that ball is going to leave the yard. It is way out of here. That is a 2-run home run for Florida State. Go ahead.
It's update time for that
ass. That's Reese Albert, and there's Johnny Mack. But Reese Albert just hit a ball that was not, I don't believe, wind-aided. It was hammered.
Yeah, that's a line drive that left the yard.
A hammered shot there. 12-7 Florida State. I think it's hilarious we come on and By the way, that's a bad pitch. That pitch is that pitch is center cut.
I suppose both works.
It does. That's center cut, belt high, and it got sent where those kinds of pitches get sent. My goodness.
You know, my favorite thing. What do you know? Most home runs in the bigs are usually on meaty pitches, if you will. But Keith Hernandez in the Mets broadcast, when he watches the replay, he never knows. And then he watches the replay, goes, all right, it's a fastball. Oh, well, that's right down Broadway.
Right down the middle.
That's right down the pipe. Yeah. Well, Johnny Mac got the slow-mo replay treatment.
Well,
that's because they have the Reese Albert, the fat Albert Reese Albert character.
They do, and that pitch was terrible. If I'm Florida Atlantic's, I don't want to take anything away from Reese Albert. If I'm Florida Atlantic's pitching coach, head coach, if I'm a teammate of that young man, like, sir, I mean, you could not have placed that on a tee any better for him to hit.
So this is almost like an in-broadcast commentary here, but now you're up 5. You saw the problems we had with walking players in the ACC tournament, but it's still a 5-run lead.
Don't bring it up.
Do you sit JC? You've gotten him warm, but do you put him back out in the outfield and start with somebody else this half inning and see if you could save the bullets? And first sign of trouble, you bring him in, or because you've warned him, do you just roll him out there?
I'm not rolling him out in the non-save situation there necessarily. I also don't think we're done with this inning. They don't look like are they going to get somebody?
They went to break. I would think so, yeah.
I would hope. But if they're not, I mean, I don't know. By now, think about this. I'm not as well-versed on Florida Atlantic's pitching staff as maybe I should be as we enter the broadcast. If I were doing this game, I would be. But what I would say to you is that I got to believe when we're getting on to their 5th or 6th pitcher here, I like our chances to add on. I mean...
Yeah, there's nobody out.
There's nobody out, and again...
So you'd sit JC. You'd say, come on back into the dugout, son.
We'll be all right. At this point. Anyhow, look, get this win. Get this win. All I wanted Georgia to feel the heat.
19 hits.
That's dumb. I wanted Georgia to feel the heat, to come into a situation where you're heavily favored. You've had a great season. You had a great season last year, and you failed to cash it in, as we talked about this week. It's different being the hunted. We know from so many appearances in regionals and super regionals, when you're a host as a national seed, all of the pressure is on you to win. Now, there are huge advantages to playing at home and sleeping in your own bed and having a comfort level, obviously, with your fan base and all that other stuff. But, again, we know that if things start to go awry, there's another hard hit. That's a double. He's going to keep running for days. You
may be right.
I'm telling you, man. Florida State continues to pile it on. By the way, that was against the shift, and Florida Atlantic does their shift uniquely. They take their third baseman and put him at second base and leave their shortstop at short. But here's the problem. You have a lefty-on-lefty pitch here, Tom, and I know we're not allowed to do this, so I'll stop doing it. But you have a lefty-on-lefty pitch.
You can talk about the situation. You're not saying 1-0.
No, but what I am telling you is look at how poor – why are you set up away?
Yeah.
That is asinine.
Yes, you got to call the game commensurate to the shift you have in the field.
It makes zero sense.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Originally, when I saw it, I blamed the pitcher. That's on whoever called that pitch and that catcher. That catcher is set up low and away. Yeah. You have a shift on for a left-handed hitter where everybody's to the right side of second. You just invited that guy to stick his bat out there and let it roll for days.
Which is what he did.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know really what else to say about that. If I were a Florida Atlantic fan, I would be really pissed. That's crazy.
That baseball going into such a wide-open area reminds me of the 2010 ACC championship game in which Virginia Tech's receiver was wide open like that all night.
All night, yeah. Mm-hmm. It was by the way, sorry, I couldn't catch it. Glimpse here. It was Mendoza who obviously slapped that the other way. He's had a fine day, a couple home runs and a double. He has come through today, and you expect your big-time players to come up big in these moments. He has come through. To be fair, so have a whole bunch of other Seminoles today, and at least the hitters, it has been a day where they're very comfortable in the box. Florida Atlantic has not had a lot in the way of moving their feet and getting these guys off the plate, and our guys are standing on top of it right now, feeling great. So, hey, good. Let's hope it keeps on keeping on. You got a 5-run lead right now. Nobody out. Runner at second. An opportunity to add on to it. So we'll see. That was amazing, by the way. He called a fastball low and away against the shift, and That ball's just foul. That was nearly another double.
If Florida State can either tack on and hold on, whatever. If they win this ball game,
this poor Eric Keating kid on the hill.
You are looking at a situation. Oh, I mean, the interesting thing is if you're FAU in this moment, you're still trying kind of to win.
Oh well, I don't think so. Just saw and found out who this Eric Keating is. He is he of the nearly 7 ERA Keating family.
So you're hoping because I mean it is double eliminations and the way the ball's flying out today.
Yeah, they're saving their guys. They put out.
You're conceding that you're going to the losers bracket game.
You're not using any more arms.
So with a win, it's 7 p.m. tomorrow night that Florida State plays. That's the important thing. With a win, Florida State plays in the nightcap tomorrow in Athens.
Yeah, and getting back to my original point, and we'll tackle the NBA first game. Obviously, now we got a series. I'm really excited about what I saw last night from Toronto. I don't want to overreact to game one. There's a line drive. Did he catch it? Oh, okay, that moves the runner to third. One out, runner at third. Okay.
Now we're getting on that play-by-play.
Sorry about that. Okay. Well, I wish they would just give me the better camera angle. I'd go launch right into play-by-play for you, baby. Here we go.
Well, it's all ESPN, right?
Yeah, We're all in the family.
You know,
Swaffy. I got this covered. Don't worry about it, guys. I actually only got called out on that one time. Somebody called and nearly got me in trouble. Somebody was that upset. I was like, really? You don't have that life?
That's
what are we doing?
That's like when the dude called the ad council, you know?
12-7. Matthew Nelson at the plate. He's had a good day as well. 2 for 4 on the afternoon with a runner at third, and they have pulled their infield in, Tom. So let's see what happens. There's
put the ball in play, young man.
Ball in play, indeed. So let's see if they can tack on. 1 out in the 9th. Florida State comfortably ahead. But I wanted Georgia to have to feel a little heat. Maybe they handle it fine. A lot of good teams do. A lot of good teams on a mission. They're the 4th seed nationally. They have pitched well. You know, whatever momentum I'm trying to create here or generate for Florida State can easily be washed away with a dominant pitching performance. We know that.
19 hits in a game. You don't necessarily always follow that up with 12.
No,
the
and
next
so,
night.
Yeah, it's fascinating. But I just wanted to get into a situation where they began to think about it because no matter how critical we are of this team, and this has been a team to be critical of at times, we are still, and I've always recognized this, we are still Florida State, man. This is a program that has done a whole lot of winning. And the Garnet and the Gold travels in the sense that when you see that in college baseball, not unlike college football when we're not 5-7, there is a respect put on it immediately. There is you're not facing a Johnny-come-lately. You're not facing a program that hasn't been there, that's going to be starstruck, that is a situation that, hey, the weight of this expectation. I don't think there is any on the road for them. I think they probably enjoy the role of spoiler here.
Right.
We did say there are benefits to traveling instead of being in your own backyard in Mike Martin's final year where, potentially – you could feel an awful lot of pressure to try to come through for a legend. That stadium would be packed right now with Knowles, and while we think that's a good thing, I don't know how kids handle that necessarily with the weight of having to win to move on.
Right, and given that Georgia was a national seed last year and
came up short,
blank the pooch, then you get into a winner's bracket game tomorrow night. Let's say that they carry the day as they should, and you see that uniform, you see the Garnet and the Gold,
and
it's Martin's last year. You go, oh god, and you see they put 19 hits up, maybe more, maybe we're not done yet. Yesterday, and you go, oh boy, so this is their good pitcher. And the bats have come to life, and this program has been in regional play 40 out of 40 for this freaking dude. It's his last year. Everything's against us because you have that defeatist mentality as a Georgia baseball fan.
You could.
That could translate to an atmosphere.
It does when we're at Hauser. Countless times I've felt the weight of walking into Hauser knowing that the fans so desperately want something to get up and be happy about, and then it doesn't happen, So here comes a 3-1 pitch to J.C. Flowers, and that ball is stung to shortstop. And that's going to be an error that he threw into next week. J.C. Flowers wasn't running down the line. He got very, very lucky. A run is going to score. He'll go to second base. It's 13-7. Got to run down the first baseline, young man.
So he slipped out of the box, and then he kind of was jogging after the slip.
He wasn't kind of.
There was an initial slip. It wasn't a Robinson Cano. Just want to make it clear. It was not a Robbie Cano.
Yeah, they show him slip there, and then he all but stopped running. My man You got to do better than that, and no doubt they're going to rip him for it. But it is now, regardless, 13-7 Florida State after an errant throw from the shortstop that leads to another Florida State runner at second base. When we come back, let's document what happened last night in Game 1 because it's fascinating. And Toronto has a 1-0 lead in that series, and I do believe that may get dicey. That could be fun.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Brewing good times for 190 years. Must be 21 or older. Please drink responsibly. A message from local beverage distributor Triangle Sales.
This is what flow from Progressive sounds like in one of our many hilarious commercials.
And basic motorcycle policies start at just $75 a year. I know, right? Do you think I say I know right too often? I do. I know, right? I have to stop, don't I? I know.
And this is what that same commercial sounds like on your motorcycle.
I know, right?
Yeah, even our commercials are better on a bike. Progressive keeps you on yours. Get a quote in as little as 3 minutes at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Annual premium for basic liability policy not available in all states.
T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, TSparkConstruction.com.
Hurricane Michael was not kind to many of our homes and businesses. As I ride through Tallahassee, the blue tarps and missing shingles are abundantly visible. While a few missing shingles may seem like minimal damage, I assure you they are not. Leaks can occur, causing wood decay, interior damage, or mold growth within your home or business. We specialize in storm damages and insurance claims. Let us get your roof back to shedding water, not leaking water. Call us today. We can help. At T-Spark Enterprises, we conquer all peaks.
Call 850-766-1340. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, TSparkConstruction.com.
License number CCC 1331204.
Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey sponsors Braves baseball so that all of you can enjoy the action. Ever since the days of Hank Aaron and Dale Murphy, we've been Tallahassee's home run hitting law firm. And because we don't get paid unless we win, we want to win every case as much as Chipper Jones wanted to win every game. So when you're injured, don't just trust any law firm to handle your case. Make the call to the bullpen for a trusted closer. To see our stats on the back of our baseball card, visit wrongfullyinjured.com. Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey. Personal injury law is all we do.
Hey, Tallahassee, it's me, the Capitol Building. I know you've cracked some jokes about my awesome tower and perfectly symmetrical domes. It's okay, because from on high, I see a serious problem in this town. Scores of people like yourself, confused, hungry, not knowing what to eat for a delicious downtown breakfast or lunch. Well, have no fear. Just a stone's throw away from my observation deck are the best people in the business, Metro Deli. Breakfast, eat, sandwiches, and wraps, too. Metro Deli is the spot for you. Oh, yeah, Metro Deli. And hey, don't throw stones from my deck. That's not cool. Someone might get hurt.
Hi, Chris Kraft for the all-new Infinity of Tallahassee, the newest Kraft Brothers dealership. As we get ready to break ground on the new Kraft Infinity store, Peter and I thought, why not have a founding 50 with lots of cool stuff for 50 special buyers? And when we say special benefits, we mean it. Here's just some of what you'll get. Free lifetime oil changes, free lifetime powertrain warranty, and free gas fill-up with factory-scheduled maintenance. I told you this was special, and there's more. Free car wash and loaner cars, a gold license plate frame, and a commemorative brick at our new store. Plus, my favorite, the white glove treatment with front-of-the-line service priority. It's Tallahassee's first truly VIP car buying and servicing experience. So if you're in the market for a luxury vehicle, you need to look at Infinity of Tallahassee. Seriously, no haggle pricing, and every time you come in for factory-scheduled maintenance, we change your oil for free, wash your car, and even fill it up with gas. It's Infinity of Tallahassee's founding 50, so prepare to be pampered. Infinity of Tallahassee, 3355 Capitol Circle Northeast, next to Ted's Montana Grill.
Today at Whataburger, we're cooking the Buffalo Ranch Chicken Strip Sandwich.
You asked for it, and it's back.
We got 3 chicken strips, 2 slices of Monterey Jack cheese, topped with Whataburger's own buffalo sauce, a little bit of buttermilk ranch, all between a toasted bun.
Chicken sandwich on its own is good. Chicken sandwich with buffalo sauce is fantastic. It really wakes up the chicken sandwich.
It's crunchy, and then it's spicy, and then it's cool. Your mouth is exploding with flavor.
Whataburger's Buffalo Ranch Chicken Strip Sandwich. That's back, and it's only here for a limited time.
The Braves are back, and as 2019 heats up, Atlanta is looking for some huge wins as they set off to defend the division crown.
Hit in the air to left field. That may be in the bullpen. Dansby Swanson with a rocket to left field.
Atlanta Braves baseball on 97.9 ESPN Radio is brought to you by Whitten Glass, Tallahassee's first family in glass, and by Metro Deli in downtown Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show. Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
From one song to another, and we will conclude matters in Athens.
It's update time for that ass.
A 1-2-3 ninth, and Florida State has closed it out rather easily.
Bend over.
Yeah, it's a win for Florida State, 13-7, 19 hits. Damn fine day offensively for the Noles, who, if you think back now, their last 2 games have really clubbed the baseball. 11 runs against NC State up at the ACC tournament, which turned out to be, in the eyes of many, a really needed win. But even if it hadn't been needed, it was good for confidence, certainly. And then they come into this game against Florida Atlantic, and they really hit the baseball around the lot, nearly 20 hits. That'll work.
Yeah, you hope that we get contagious a little bit with the bats, right? Because we've had some surges in the last couple of weeks. The Louisville game in that final series of ACC play. We get killed, then we kill them, and then they answer right back and blow us out. And then in the ACC tournament, we did answer in game 1 to tie the game at 4, but then it was a bullpen implosion. 4 runs was all we scored on that day, and then we answer with a huge outing against NC State. So if we can bring the bats we had in game 1 to tomorrow night, which it'll be the nightcap in Athens as long as weather's okay, then who knows? With the way C.J. Van Eyck's been pitching, he might have a chance here.
Yeah, I'm just going to be doing some bragging lately. I've been on a roll. I called that Toronto series. I've got the Noles winning this regional, buddy. I'm telling you. You got to ride this to Vegas. Sometimes you're in a hot streak, sometimes you're not. But I'm feeling good about this one. We'll see. We'll see in that, obviously, Florida State will have a more formidable opponent, or so we think. But don't let Georgia fool around and screw up and fall into the losers bracket early on here, and it's cruising on into the regional in Baton Rouge, perhaps.
I think a lot of Noles will have kind of a half an eye towards the bottom line tonight, but then if it gets to the 7th or an 8th and it's a 1-run game in Athens, then we're all going to be finding the apps.
What are we doing here?
Logging in. It's on SEC Network tonight, so you can pull it up on TV 486 on Xfinity.
Well, it was a lot of fun last night. You watched Game 1 and the NBA Finals, and I'd wanted to see, could Toronto keep the momentum going? Remember, they'd won 4 straight games against Milwaukee, and they had won those games a couple of ways. First of all, they, again, made the defensive adjustment that put Kawhi Leonard on Giannis, and that changed the series for good. But what also occurred in that moment was that you had a player, a dynamic player, who had to really work on defense to try to shut down the other team's dynamic player, and I thought it affected his offense. And so why do I bring that up? Well, it forced the role players on this Toronto team to have to contribute more, to have to do more. Now, they had a great season. Toronto won 58 games, second-best record in the NBA. This even while Kawhi Leonard was resting 20-plus games this year for load management, has been documented. But what it did more than anything else during the regular season was ensure that Pascal Siakam or somebody was going to have to rise up. Some nights it was Lowry, some nights, but Siakam really was the guy that kind of came out of nowhere to have a big season. And now you fast forward in this postseason, and they've kind of taken turns. Now you can always count on Kawhi to play great defense. You can always count on Kawhi to give you 20-plus points. Sometimes he's superhuman, but a lot of times it's just a 30 points, great defense, superstar performance. But every night there seems to be a different player stepping up for Toronto, and we speculated that the only way Toronto could be in this series or have a chance in this series, carry over momentum from the previous series and have guys kind of space out their great games. We didn't want everybody to have a great night on a given night because they aren't the kinds of players that have been able to string together in succession 3 and 4 and 5 straight good performances. Usually they're just somebody who gets hot. It's a different guy each time to pair with Kawhi's good game that you know you're going to get. But, boy, I don't know. I think you'd have to say last night, both good and bad. Good, they paced the game they wanted, really led the whole way. You could always sense that Golden State was chasing the number and trying to get back in, and a couple times they had looks to cut it to 3, cut it to 7 late, all these different moments. They were having to work hard. And then secondarily, you did get that performance from Siakam last night. He won't play that well again in this series. He'll play well, but he was lights out last night. But you could not have known you were going to get 20 from Gasol. You couldn't have known Danny Green, who hasn't done a damn thing in forever and a day, was going to go nuts and hit shots. You could, VanVleet's a nice player. He is. But he played well also in this game. And Kawhi wasn't great last night. He was good, but he was not great. He got to the foul line. He get 12 free throw attempts. But he's a guy that can certainly play better offensively. I do question how healthy he is. But then from there, you got some guys that woke up and played with confidence that I wouldn't have suspected. And Lowry didn't shoot it well. He had 9 assists, played good defense, but he didn't shoot it well. Toronto's got to be feeling really good, and they have Golden State's attention. At this point, I think Golden State is okay, all right.
I would think they would, and it's not just – I wouldn't look at it just from the Toronto secondary scorers storyline. I'd look at the output, assist to turnovers. If you look at what Toronto did last night, they only turned the ball over 10 times.
Yeah, and Golden State turned it over 16, I believe.
Right.
I remember reading
well,
that
they
correctly.
looked flustered coming up the court a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But it was 25-10 was Toronto's assist to turnover ratio last night. And the other key number I thought, because in the Houston series, Golden State, whenever it needed to get a second chance bucket, it did. If they needed an offensive board, they got it. They only had 9 last night.
Yeah, well, Toronto's a different team, right? Toronto's a different animal. First of all, Toronto's really good defensively. Very good. They have been all year long, led by what I think is the defensive player of the year in Kawhi Leonard. So you've got guys like that who can dominate people. But the problem I thought going into this series wasn't that Toronto wouldn't show up on defense. It's that, A, I didn't know how consistent they'd be on offense. Last night they were great. And B, I didn't know that, hey, look, maybe for a night, and maybe we are overreacting, but Golden State has so many weapons typically that, yeah, you shut down 2 of them, you still got a Hall of Famer or an all-star caliber player who's going to light you up somewhere else. What was interesting about last night, and it's the argument for KD getting back in this series, right? Didn't Golden State feel awfully thin? Iguodala got hurt late in this game, and if he's not right, they got problems on their hand. He didn't play well.
That does not look good.
No, and so you got a situation now where, let's say, we know KD's ruled out for Game 2.
Right, Game 3 becomes the series if Toronto win. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. You start wondering.
You have 4 cracks at it. Come on, what are we doing?
Yeah, I'm beginning to wonder, for as much as we talk about Golden State's depth, it doesn't feel like they're a very deep team right now.
Yeah.
Because, Boogie Cousins coming back did them no good. And I don't know really how it could because he hasn't played a lot of basketball. He looked a step slow, maybe 2 steps slow at times. The game was fast for him. It's not, I'm not going to sit here and rip the man, but I don't know really what he can provide for them. I mean, he can't give them a lot of valuable minutes. He hasn't been playing basketball. He's out of shape. Anybody would be.
Yeah, I look at it, and of course, Siakam's not going to only miss 3 shots in a game unless he takes like 6.
That's pretty awesome.
That's not going to happen again.
I was laughing every time he put up a shot. Okay.
The point on SportsCenter is correct, our radio SportsCenter, which is how does he take 17 shots from the field? He only has 2 free throw attempts. That's nuts. You've got to start hacking away at that dude in order to make him work for all of his production. But I also look at this. It's not as if Golden State didn't produce in a couple of key areas. Steph had a fine night. Klay Thompson wasn't that great, but between the two of them, they had 55 points, and they shoot 29 to 31 from the free throw line. I mean, is Golden State really going to shoot that well again from the free throw line? So it's not just about Toronto as a bunch of outliers. There are some things that Golden State did well, some things, and they still lost by a lot.
Yeah, and they were always chasing, like I said. But again, they lost by a lot because you had role players in double digits. I mean, I don't think that you're going to see, you might, really Golden State didn't have an answer for Gasol, who every time a smaller player came out to guard him. He went to the basket.
Big bucket over Curry late in the game. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, anytime a smaller player came to get him, Gasol took advantage. And Gasol's got a lot of experience, so he's not nervous in the setting. But I would also say, what will change? I'll tell you what will change. Golden State is not going to give up transition baskets, layups to Siakam because he just beats him back down the floor. That happened 4 times last night where a Toronto player got back down the floor before Golden State could get back. That's lazy. That's just lazy. I don't know how else to describe that. That was bizarre. That's not taking your opponent serious. That's why the shooting percentages are so high. You got layups. That's that, and they also shot the lights out. But Toronto at home is good, and so if you're going to have a series, they have to win at home. But they don't have to win a game at Golden State. They don't have to win a single game at Golden State. So, the onus is on Golden State to win one in Toronto at some point, and you just blew a chance last night. It's just one game.
Right, and Durant's not available on Sunday.
Yeah, he's not available on Sunday. So you would suspect, and this is how quickly series change. And when we go back through the history of these things, you can find any number of examples where it looked like a team was in control and one game shifted the momentum and changed, or a defensive switch, or a eureka moment for one of the coaches. Oh, they can't guard this. Okay, whatever it might be. So there's a lot of things that are going to happen between now and the end of this series. But Toronto's recipe to get this to go 7 and have Game 7 in their place, and to get this to where they could actually steal and win an NBA championship, and one we would all say rather improbable, I guess, but more and more we're learning you can't overlook who they are, it would be to win these first 2 home games. Now you go back to Golden State, it's going to be hard. They're going to have a hard time winning at Golden State. We know that. But you really start eliminating the number of opportunities Golden State has. I'll tell you what. I mean, how weird is it if you're a Toronto fan? So your year starts, you've shaken things up, you fired your coach, you bring in Kawhi, you're excited about that. It's a rental. So you say to yourself, you got this opportunity. This is it. You're 3 wins away from being NBA champions. I mean, it could be all worth it. Not many teams put their chips in like that and go, you know what? We don't have time to wait around. The East is down. LeBron's gone. Let's see. I don't know. Let's bring in Kawhi. Let's see if this works. Let's bring in a different coach. Let's see if we can make a run at this thing.
Well, and who knows? Maybe it piques Kawhi's interest to stick around if they win a title.
Nope.
You don't think it increases the likelihood 1%, 10%, 20%?
Maybe. I don't know. If you read the reports that he's already bought a mansion near the Clippers, probably not. Probably not.
Well, Jarowski was at least willing to say last series.
He would know more than me. I will concede
that there was a 0 chance. And now, in this playoff run, he's like, well, I don't know. I kind of like it.
There's something to be said, first of all, for being adored, held on high as, only Vince Carter is held in higher regard in Toronto right now than Kawhi Leonard, right? I mean, as far as basketball, basketball legends. So if he won a championship, he'd supplant Vince in that regard, and he would be an all-time hero. But, there are so many other factors that play into whether or not Kawhi Leonard wants to stay in Toronto. The one thing I would say, I guess, to argue for it is that he's a different cat. KD is going to do what he does. He's going to, he wants the attention. He's going to do what he does this offseason. He's going to let that play out. He may very well know where he's going, but he's going to want to be fawned over and everything else.
Well, it seems like these guys get along, too. Doesn't that matter as well? These guys don't look like they're winning in spite of their infighting. This looks like a group that, even though they've been together for such a short amount of time, I'm not saying they're buddy-buddy, but the chemistry on the court, the movement on offense in the half court, I mean, they really anticipate where each other are the way a team would that's been playing together for 2 or 3 seasons.
It's kind of fun, too, because that's the kind of team that if you don't have a team that you're rooting for or you're just tired of Golden State, that you can root for. I mean, they're a fun team to root for. Toronto is fun to root for. They play hard. They play smart. Different guys step up on a pretty consistent basis. It's, it's not always the same guy. Like, we've talked about it before where all of a sudden you're like, look, what is VanVleet doing here? This is nuts. Or last night, I mean, again, Gasol had 20. Danny Green making shots. Kawhi was okay. He wasn't nearly as good as he normally is.
It was Green's 3 because Golden State finally had the ball with the score in single digits. Toronto kept pacing it and pacing it and pacing it. There's about 7 minutes to go. and they have a possession, they come up empty, and right immediately, it's quickly in transition, they hit Green for a 3.
Yeah.
And that's when they push it back to 12, and then they get it back to, I think it was 10 or 8, and Kawhi hits one of his threes, one of his few shots, big shots for
the night. It was a big shot, yeah.
And then that was it.
That's kind of how he is, though, right? I mean, it's funny with him. You can count on one of those shots going when he has to have it. He's a money dude.
Like, it'll rattle in, you know? It won't be straight bottoms. It'll rattle, but it'll go.
He is a money dude, though. And if you think about period-to-period scoring, or, you know, that's wow, 25, 34, 29, 30. They outscored the Warriors in every quarter save for one, and that was just by 3 in the third quarter that they got outpaced. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
NES or Sega Genesis, you name it, they got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachian Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey sponsors Braves baseball so that all of you can enjoy the action. Ever since the days of Hank Aaron and Dale Murphy, we've been Tallahassee's home run hitting law firm. And because we don't get paid unless we win, we want to win every case as much as Chipper Jones wanted to win every game. So when you're injured, don't just trust any law firm to handle your case. Make the call to the bullpen for a trusted closer. To see our stats on the back of our baseball card, visit wrongfullyinjured.com. Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey. Personal injury law is all we do.
Cigars of Tally is your one-stop shop for everything cigars. With 2 convenient locations, Cigars of Tally is here to serve you. The 1401 Market Street location is right off I-10 and great for travelers and after-work stops. The Midtown location, Cigars of Tally Lounge and Bar at 926 North Monroe Street, is great for those winding down from a long day. With the largest humidor in town, affordable cigar lockers, a large covered patio, and private conference rooms, there's something for everyone to enjoy. Cigars of Tally, open 7 days a week. Need cigars? Get your ash in here.
The Jeff Cameron Show podcast, available on demand at ESPNTallahassee.com and on iTunes today. The Jeff Cameron Show podcast is brought to you by Garnet and Gold of Tallahassee. When you buy FSU apparel, support local business. GarnetandGold.com.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Thompson Services of Tallahassee, LLC, has been servicing the Tallahassee area for over 20 years with a variety of services from tire repair, new and used tires, changing of big truck tires, and 24-hour roadside service. Thompson Services of Tallahassee also will detail your car to perfection with wash and wax and a variety of affordable packages to have you riding nice and clean. Thompson Services of Tallahassee is located at 3014 South Adams Street, right across from Planet Fitness. Call for a convenient service appointment at 850-284-5907.
Hardee's used to think bowls were useless dishware. Then we created the new loaded hash round bowl. Crispy potatoes, fluffy eggs, sausage gravy, melted cheddar, and crumbled bacon. Now part of our 2 for $4 mix and match deal. No longer are bowls just college football games you can nap to. Now they're loaded with Hardee's delicious breakfast favorites and in our 2 for $4 mix and match. Try a bowl today. They're actually really useful. Hardee's, because it tastes better.
Available for a limited time during regular breakfast hours at participating restaurants. Tax not included. Price and participation may vary.
Today at Whataburger, we're cooking the Buffalo Ranch Chicken Strip Sandwich.
You asked for it, and it's back.
We got 3 chicken strips, 2 slices of Monterey Jack cheese, topped with Whataburger's own buffalo sauce, a little bit of buttermilk ranch, all between a toasted bun.
Chicken sandwich on its own is good. Chicken sandwich with buffalo sauce is fantastic. It really wakes up the chicken sandwich.
It's crunchy, and then it's spicy, and then it's full. Your mouth is exploding with flavor.
Whataburger's Buffalo Ranch Chicken Strip Sandwich. That's back, and it's only here for a limited time.
Don't start your day off with the same old boring breakfast. Stop by the Bagel Market and Bistro on Thomasville Road and the Persimmon Hills Shopping Plaza. They have fresh baked bagels and cream cheese every Monday for only $1.50. Green smoothies and great salads like the spinach apple salad. Muffins and cinnamon rolls are also options for breakfast. Sandwiches, salads, and more for lunch and dinner. Open 7 days a week. Check them out online at thebagelmarketandbistro.com or on Facebook and give them a call at 765-0598.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. Warriors coach Steve Kerr now confirms Kevin Durant is out for Sunday's Game 2 of the NBA Finals. Durant still hasn't practiced. He has a strained right calf. The Raptors took Game 1 at home behind 32 points from Pascal Siakam. ESPN's Richard Jefferson.
This man goes 14 for 17, has 32 points, and only shot 2 free throws. That means that no one fouled him. That means no one sent a message. Like, this is the NBA Finals. There needs to be more aggression from the Warriors. There needs to be more push. There needs to be more intensity. I'm sorry. A wing player should not make 14 field goals and only have 2 free throws. That means that you're not hitting him enough. That means you're not physical enough. And that's just a problem. If we're going to talk about that, the Warriors they shot 50% from the field, 40% from the 3, and 85% from the free throw line, the Toronto Raptors did. And to me, that's just not good enough.
Richard Jefferson on Golick and Wingo. Game 2 coverage from Toronto starts Sunday at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio, ABC, and the ESPN app. New Green Bay Packers head coach Matt LaFleur will have surgery Sunday for a torn Achilles tendon. He got hurt on the basketball court at the team facility during OTAs. Number 2 women's seed Karolina Pliskova is out today at the French Open. Knocked off in straight sets by Petra Martic. Other winners today, Sloane Stephens, Madison Keys, Roger Federer, and Rafael Nadal. The NHL clears Capitals center Evgeny Kuznetsov after a video surfaced appearing to show Kuznetsov in a hotel room with white powder on a table. Troy Merritt is the leader right now in the second round at the Memorial. He shoots 66 today. He's at 9 under par.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's Libations Friday.
Hot damn.
Brought to you by Quarter Pocket Bar and Grill. Quarter Pocket Bar and Grill on Appalachie Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Quite the ass kicking today from Florida State as they down FAU 13-7 and do pound out 20 hits. I shorted them in the first segment. Said they only had 19. They had 20. 13 runs, 6 home runs. Found something else out during the break as I was reading some of the sidebars. It is FAU's catcher who calls the pitches. I'd put an end to that real quick if I were their coach. My man, we got a shift on. You're calling low and away. Okay.
Well, on the broadcast, I think Ira noted this, but on the broadcast, they could not stop talking about it.
That he calls the pitches?
They need to do more of that in college.
Well, perhaps, but not with him.
And not today.
That was dumb. Yeah, when you give up 6 home runs and you've got guys throwing away from the shift, perhaps he should not be calling the pitches.
Tim Linnefeld's up there with Seminoles.com, and he put out on Twitter that Martin was willing to admit that a couple of the home runs were wind-aided, but he said, who cares?
Quote, unquote, who cares? That made me laugh as well. I don't care either, yeah. A couple more were not wind-aided. That last one was hammered deep into the night, or afternoon, I should say, in this case. The trees, which is a beautiful backdrop there.
That's a really good idea.
I like that place.
We should embrace that idea. We don't have the space to do it. But if you
just get rid of the damn stadium that we're in, that would
Watch the game tonight, folks, or tomorrow night, and you'll see that they have a nice club level behind home plate.
Oh, we're moving on from football.
And we have a
Tom Lang Memorial over there in football is going to be taking it on down the road to the baseball stadium.
You can tell that they used to have a giant backstop the way we did.
Yeah.
And you know what?
They said, screw that.
They said, screw that. If we got to move out some concession stands, so friggin' be it.
Yeah, move them. Move those concession stands. Let's do it up. Did you see where, and I think this is why if I were a coach, and it stinks because these guys love the extra income, I'm sure. They love the game, so they get opportunities. But Doc Rivers just got fined, and the Clippers got fined, I should say, $50,000 for the league's for violating the league's anti-tampering rule. And I wanted to see what he said because obviously I knew he was talking about Kawhi, so I wanted to see what happened here because he's rumored to be going to the Clippers, of course, and it's so innocuous. It's nothing like what happened with Magic Johnson on the talk show circuit. He's sitting down. Magic is on the set, by the way. Seems tampering follows him everywhere. But it's Wilbon, inexplicably, and it's Doc Rivers, and it's Magic Johnson.
Well, it's Wilbon and Wilbon's best friend.
Best friends.
I could call him Irvin.
Yeah. So there they are talking about the game last night, and it's a post-game assessment, and they're talking about what Golden State didn't do, what obviously Toronto did do. And Magic Johnson brings up Kawhi Leonard. He's asked a question about where Kawhi ranks, because this is what we do now. Immediately rank everybody as number 1, 2, or 3, or 4 in the league. And he said, well, he's probably the most complete player of the ones we're talking about, which he's not wrong. And so they're going back and forth about the things that make him special. And they ask Doc Rivers his opinion. And he said, well, he's the most like Michael that we have in the league. And he goes, now let me clarify. He's not Michael Jordan, but he has huge hands, and so did Mike. So he causes problems defensively. He gets his hands on a lot of ball. His wingspan is huge.
Right. Which is when Dorsberg went, yes, that's right. Give me a microphone. I wish to talk about this.
So he's got huge hands, and then he talked about his wingspan, and he talked about his defensive prowess, his competitive nature, and how physical he is. And I thought that was the best part was he said, look, guys try to keep him from getting to his spot. Kawhi has spots on the floor where he's really good from. Everybody knows what they are. Scouting reports are scouting reports. They know this about everybody. But he's so strong that even if you beat him to the spot, he's going to bump you kind of in a non-foul way. He's just stronger than you are, and you're going to move a half an inch, 2 inches. He's going to get that shot off because he's longer than you too, so you're not going to block it. And we saw that against Embiid, right? He has to chase. That is as good as he could defend it. Arm outstretched. He's over 7 feet tall, and he got that shot off over him, huh? So anyhow,
Doris is now sweating and fanning herself as this is going on.
Let's get back to the hands. So I anyhow, they fined him for that. Well, you can't be on a show if you're not allowed to say that.
ESPN should pay that fine.
I was going to say, he's given an assessment of the man's game. He didn't say, the things he does so well, he could do even better with the Clippers.
He could make a lot of clubs better.
Yeah. He didn't say anything. All he did was assess the guy's abilities, which obviously are bountiful, but $50,000.
Also, for most people, it's about an hour and 10 minutes from quitting time. If you want to laugh, you want to fall into a rabbit hole for about 20 minutes, just search Doris Kawhi hands on Twitter and look at the people noted on that broadcast. And
it came up a lot.
There are a lot of tweets that you got some GIFs and videos and all that kind of stuff. Enjoy, folks.
The problem is it's a valid point because they're abnormally large for a man his size.
It's a point you make once, though.
Yeah, you don't have to repeatedly make it. It's unfortunate for her that as an analyst, she's like the only female analyst, and she's fawning over hand size for a good couple of minutes.
She could also control her tone. I'm just saying, like if you had this, and you had to choose one, right?
Yeah.
So it's Gary Danielson and Tebow.
Oh, Gary Gary was as excited to talk about Tebow as Doris is about Kawhi Leonard's hands.
Yeah, Doris and Kawhi's hands. You had Wilbon and Magic Johnson.
Wilbon with any athlete that he just wants to.
And you have, you have Bill Simmons
out
with Boston sports. I think there you go. If you had to pick one, it's a really tough race.
But I'll side with Simmons because at least he's just straightforward. I'm from Boston, love Boston, and I'm going to tell you about Boston.
So he's eliminated.
Yeah. So
and now you're down to the big three, which is Wilbon and Magic Johnson, Doris Burke, Kawhi's hands, and Danielson Tebow.
I think Danielson Tebow is going to still win.
Wild card, Mike Tirico, Louisville.
Well, that was a special night, Tom. He got caught up in the moment. Well, if we're going to do that, Mark Jackson's got – not Mark Jackson. Is it Mark Jackson?
What, with Van Gundy?
No, not Mark Jackson.
Well, he Embiid for like 10 minutes.
Mark Jones.
Mark Jones.
The guy that does our games and does basketball games. I did the slam dunk contest with him where we yelled – that's his name, right? What a time to be alive.
I thought that was Adam Amin.
No.
It was Mark Jones?
I think it was Mark Jones.
Okay.
What a time to be alive. We can double-check it, but I think it was Mark Jones.
What a time to be alive.
He couldn't believe it. He was so excited to watch that block kick and return and impotent effort to make a tackle.
Also, looking back at those old broadcasts, it's hard to remember it because of CBS' relationship with the ACC for a long time, but Vern Lundquist loved Bobby Bowden. Like, he and Tim Brando both loved
All
Bowden.
The old-school announcers certainly fell in love with Bobby Bowden because he was so open. The thing that, listen, we could go on for days about the things that were beloved about Bobby Bowden and are beloved about Bobby Bowden, but the truth is his folksy style and openness and willingness to talk to reporters at a time where a lot of people at various schools, didn't have to do that because they already had the cachet, they already had the requisite media following necessary to promote a program. But Bobby realized early on that Florida State, if they were going to make their mark, had to do a couple of things. That was A, schedule anybody, anytime, anywhere, and B, let the media in. Otherwise, you're not going to get promoted, and he did. And so all those old announcers, when they were in the prime of their career, they had unfettered access to Florida State anytime they did a game. And he would welcome them into his office and talk for hours. And most coaches don't do that. So the goodwill built up at that time carried over 30 years later, 20 years later, obviously.
I think we have our winner, actually. It's you and Lonnie Pryor.
Oh, well, yeah. Let's hear it.
Hey, Lonnie. How you doing, man? Doing well.
Yeah. You can just hear the joy in my voice, right?
Hey, Lonnie. How you doing, man? Doing well.
And you hear the joy in Lonnie's voice, too. That's just two friends coming together right there.
It's not as creepy as Wilbon Irvin because at least Lonnie reciprocates. He's happy to see you.
Well,
Irvin might be like, hey, Wilbon, what you doing here?
It was completely unprofessional on my part because what's happening that you don't see there is as I say, hey, Lonnie, and he says, what's going on, man? He's turning to smile at me, and we're about to slap five and do kind of a bro hug. It's supposed to be media day.
It's media day.
It's media day, and I'm doing a bro hug with Lonnie. So that was,
Hey, Lonnie. How you doing, man? Doing well.
He's live.
That sounds like you guys met in the produce section at Publix.
Yeah, it's been a little
more
while.
than it did media day.
Yeah. No.
Hey, Lonnie. How you doing, man? Doing well.
Now, to just completely take a peek behind the curtain and the lack of professionalism that I showed there, we did get along swimmingly, but he gave me his pro day shirt.
Yeah,
I still have it.
That's right.
I still have it.
I thought it was NFL Combine.
Yeah, NFL Combine. Yeah, it was NFL Combine. The shirt he ran in. I still have it.
I believe you wore that to Augusta to meet Jack, right?
I did not wear Lonnie Pryor's workout shirt, but I should have worn a green jacket to meet Jack. That would have been something, huh? Hey, Jack, you like my jacket?
Are you with the club?
Oh man, that flew past. It is a libation Friday.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Have been spent on this deck. Man, people enjoy it. They laugh, they sing, They drink, they eat, and they celebrate all the goodness of the Gordo's deck.
And you can come have a Gordo Smash.
Delicious. Sitting on the deck with a Gordo Smash. That's a good day at the office.
Or put a Cuban in your mouth.
And other food. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
O'Reilly Auto Parts offers O Rewards points in-store and online. Earn points on everything from replacement parts to tools and accessories. And for every 150 points collected, you'll get a $5 reward. Earn points any way you shop. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hi, Chris Kraft for the all-new Infinity of Tallahassee, the newest Kraft Brothers dealership. As we get ready to break ground on the new Kraft Infinity store, Peter and I thought, why not have a founding 50 with lots of cool stuff for 50 special buyers? And when we say special benefits, we mean it. Here's just some of what you'll get. Free lifetime oil changes, free lifetime powertrain warranty, and free gas fill-up with factory-scheduled maintenance. I told you this was special, and there's more. Free car wash and loaner cars, a gold license plate frame, and a commemorative brick at our new store. Plus, my favorite, the white glove treatment with front-of-the-line service priority. It's Tallahassee's first truly VIP car buying and servicing experience. So if you're in the market for a luxury vehicle, you need to look at Infinity of Tallahassee. Seriously, no haggle pricing, and every time you come in for factory-scheduled maintenance, we change your oil for free, wash your car, and even fill it up with gas. It's Infinity of Tallahassee's founding 50, so prepare to be pampered. Infinity of Tallahassee, 3355 Capitol Circle Northeast, next to Ted's Montana Grill.
Hey, this is Jeff Doxey, representing Premier Fine Homes. I'm proud to announce Premier's newest community, Brookside Village. Brookside has the great schools you want, some larger home sites, and is conveniently located on Ox Bottom Road between Ox Bottom Manor and Moore Pond. Call or text me today at 545-4747 or email me at jeffdoxey1@gmail.com. Remember, before you buy, try me at Brookside.
We're back with a state champion. That's right, a state champion head coach. His name is Titus Nixon. He is the basketball coach at St. John Paul II Catholic High School. Coach, how long have you been involved with athletics at JP2?
So I've been involved for 8 years as a coach. I was an assistant, and then 2 years as the girls basketball coach, and then I just completed my 5th year as the boys basketball coach. I also spent my junior and senior years as a student at JP2 in the early years of the school's beginning.
What does it say, though, about the culture of an institution that you graduate from there almost 15 years ago, but here you are still spending your time back at that school?
I think it says a lot. The fact that my wife didn't graduate from JP2, but we both felt drawn back to help in some way. And we weren't even living in Tallahassee, and we always had this thought of, man, it would be so neat if I could go back and help in some way. And when I was named the coach 5 years ago, it was very special, and people thought I was crazy when I said in 5 years we're going to win a state championship. Maybe even I thought I was a little crazy, and it was just so cool to see the program develop over these last 5 years. And we've seen that in many of the sports at JP2. We have so many committed coaches, so many committed teachers that really lay it all on the line day in and day out to try to provide a great atmosphere and a lifelong positive experience for these students in their high school years.
Coach, thanks for your time. For more information about athletics, academics, student life, visit sjpiichs.org for St. John Paul II Catholic High School.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Driving every day from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. Warriors coach Steve Kerr now confirms Kevin Durant is out for Sunday's Game 2 of the NBA Finals. Durant still hasn't practiced. He has a strained right calf. The Raptors took Game 1 at home behind 32 points from Pascal Siakam. ESPN's Richard Jefferson.
This man goes 14 for 17, has 32 points, and only shot 2 free throws. That means that no one fouled him. That means no one sent a message. Like, this is the NBA Finals. There needs to be more aggression from the Warriors. There needs to be more push. There needs to be more intensity. I'm sorry. A wing player should not make 14 field goals and only have 2 free throws. That means that you're not hitting him enough. That means you're not physical enough. And that's just a problem. If we're going to talk about that, the Warriors they shot 50% from the field, 40% from the 3, and 85% from the free throw line, the Toronto Raptors did. And to me, that's just not good enough.
Richard Jefferson on Golick and Wingo. Game 2 coverage from Toronto starts Sunday at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio, ABC, and the ESPN app. New Green Bay Packers head coach Matt LaFleur will have surgery Sunday for a torn Achilles tendon. He got hurt on the basketball court at the team facility during OTAs. Number 2 women's seed Karolina Pliskova is out today at the French Open, knocked off in straight sets by Petra Martic. Other winners today, Sloane Stephens, Madison Keys, Roger Federer, and Rafael Nadal. The NHL clears Capitals center Evgeny Kuznetsov after a video surfaced appearing to show Kuznetsov in a hotel room with white powder on a table. Troy Merritt is the leader right now in the second round at the Memorial. He shoots 66 today. He's at 9 under par.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Hour number 2, Happy Libations Friday, everybody. Hope you're well. Thanks for tuning to it. Knowles roll big in Athens. If you're just hopping in the car and you're wondering, did Florida State win? Did they win their first regional game in Athens? Yep, they did what they needed to do. Got off to a great start. They pounding the baseball. 3 home runs in the second inning. A 5-run inning in which they bat around. Well on their way to 20 hits, 13 runs, and a 6-run victory. Wind was blowing out today big time in Athens, but while a few of those home runs may have been wind-aided, some of the others were absolute bombs. And Florida State was on the baseball really all afternoon, and so I would not call it flukish. Again, some of those balls might not have left the yard on a given day, but they were squaring it up today. And so barreled a ball repeatedly, a reminder of what happened against NC State. They're hitting the baseball right now. This has been a very streaky team. I had a good feeling going in. One win against FAU doesn't confirm my suspicion that they're going to play great baseball this weekend, but I thought they'd play pretty well. I thought they'd play loose, and that's really all you can ask. I was hoping they'd play loose. We'll see. Georgia may have the answer. If Georgia wins tonight and those two meet tomorrow, it could very well be that Georgia's pitching is just too much. But you want to put yourself in a position to put a little what they call game pressure on somebody, make them feel you a little bit, and Florida State would come into that game with an awful lot of momentum.
Well, obviously you wanted to see Mike Martin go 40 for 40 in the ability to get to the postseason, and that was accomplished. But then you don't want to go 0-2 and Q. You really don't want to have that be the final ending.
Like last year?
Yeah, well, jeez.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
I should note that there's a way to marry the sound bites. Did you know that on this day, 1 year ago, we had a certain player lose track of the score? That happened 1 year ago today.
Yes, it did.
So at some point this hour, we will have to go ahead and cue it up because it's just too fun.
With the baseball one or just the J.R. Smith
Just
one?
the J.R. Smith one.
Okay.
We don't need to send those bad vibes to baseball. They played well today.
They did.
They played really, really well today.
So
we'll
you're
just
not,
do the basketball.
You're not going 0-2 in Q, which is awesome, and you're giving yourself a fair crack at winning this regional. You are in the winner's bracket. You're playing at 1-0 tomorrow night, 7 p.m. against the winner of tonight's game between Mercer and Georgia, and your best pitcher's on the hill. That's all you can ask for.
Yep, put yourself in a position to succeed. Doesn't mean you'll execute. Doesn't mean you will be able to control everything that Georgia does, but you are certainly in a nice position after first game.
Well, you could win tomorrow, and you could still lose the whole thing because you run out of pitching. I mean, that's possible. But it's
a distinct possibility with us. Yes.
Put yourself in a 2-0 position, then you just got to hope that you can outclub the rest of the teams that you're going to play.
Last night, you saw a Game 1 performance from Toronto that featured the role players stepping up huge, and really they paced the game, dominated the game for most of it, and they're a really likable bunch, man. Toronto plays hard. They play really on both ends, and they've got a collection of guys that play off of each other exceptionally well. I don't know that the way they played last night is sustainable because – again, you're not going to get the kind of performances that you got last night from Siakam and certainly not Danny Green. And Gasol, you wouldn't think is going to have another game in this series where he scores 20, although maybe because there are some mismatches there. But they had a lot of guys contribute to the win last night, and they announced officially we've got a series because if they protect home court again, remember, they have home court for the entirety of this series. They don't have to win a game at Golden State. In fact, I don't think they will. But if they just win all their home games, they're NBA champs. And this is why during the regular season, when teams get complacent and they've won a lot of games or championships like Golden State has, they tend to rather rest than secure the best record in order to get home court. But when you have a team like Toronto that plays so well at home, and that fan base is rabid right now and is clearly the extra man, that emotional spark that they've used, it's going to be hard to win a game in Toronto for Golden State, and they're going to have to do it. The onus is on them to do it.
They won't be picked to do it on Sunday. I mean, maybe Vegas would, but not with KD out, and he is announced out today for Game 2 of this series.
Yeah, no KD for that game. There are, I should say, whispers that he'll be back in the series. Of course, after the game last night, immediately the talk turns to whether or not he comes back because Golden State looked like a team that could use him. They could use an extra, not only a shooter, but I think really when you look at that game, the whole of what Golden State was trying to do ran through two men, Steph and Klay.
Yeah, I think, well, let's revisit something you said yesterday. You reserve the right to, if Toronto won Game 1 going away, to say they still don't have a chance to win the series. That's not what this is. They convinced you last night by the way they won, even though it was a big margin of victory, that they've got a chance to actually win this thing, right?
Yeah, I still think that they are not going to win the series. I would still, if I were betting on the series right now, I would take Golden State.
Right, but
I now think they certainly, it's not crazy to think they could win the series.
Whereas before last night's game.
I thought it was highly unlikely. Yeah, I wouldn't put it at 0%, but I did. I put it at a pretty low percentage. I think I said yesterday's show less than 50%, certainly. But I really would have probably put them at 25%, 30%, somewhere in there. I don't know. This may tick it up to 40% now. We're getting closer to 50-50. They protect home court and get to 2-0. They got to win two more games, and they're both going to be the two in Toronto because they're not going to win in Golden State, I don't think. And if they do, well, good Lord, we may see a lopsided series. But I just think that they have a feel, don't they? Don't they have? Is it just me? They have the feel of a team that, and you pointed this out last hour when we were talking about the things they do well. They like to play together. They play well off of each other. And they gained a ton of confidence down 2-0 to Milwaukee by winning the next four games. I don't think you can overlook a team that goes on a four-game win streak down 2-0 and then comes into this first game and continues that run like they never stopped playing, right? This was just a continuation of what they were doing in the Milwaukee series where different guys chose moments to hit really big shots. It didn't have to be all Kawhi all the time. It's great to have a superstar to fall back on, to do everything on a night where those role players get a little overwhelmed. I think the most shocking element about last night, and maybe this goes away after just one game, was the fact that they looked so comfortable, the role players, that is. All those guys that we talk about scoring in double figures, I would have never guessed Danny Green. VanVleet's had good games this year. Siakam's had a great season. So I'm not as surprised that he had a good game, but I am surprised that Gasol had a great game. That, again, you're talking about players that on a given night can have a good game, but they played with confidence and belief. They were buoyed at various points. Lowry was terrible from the field. He did have 9 assists and did play good defense, but you got to suspect that at some point in this series, depending on how healthy Kawhi is, that he's going to have a 40-point game. Lowry is fully capable on a night where he gets hot of scoring 25 or 30 points, something like that. It's not unheard of, but he gets going on a given night. So right now they're feeling good about themselves. They have Golden State's attention, but because they have Golden State's attention now, I think they'll change the way they play it. Last night, they dared Toronto's role players to beat them. They basically said, we're not going to let Kawhi beat us because he's a known commodity. Kawhi could beat us. Kawhi is that kind of player. That ain't happening tonight. And the other guys answered. The other guys went, okay.
Well, they're not afraid, and I think that they're seeing the game, and it's very slow for them. There's a possession last night I thought was a great example. They passed up 2 good shots, the second of which was a VanVleet open 3, which you're not going to say no to that if you're Toronto. And he feeds it in the post to Gasol as Curry was guarding Gasol in the post for an easy 2-point look. But the way they did it, to use Mike Martin today, given that the Knowles won out in Athens, game 1, the poise that they play with. They're not afraid to be in the finals. Now, maybe if Golden State hits them in the mouth early in game 2, and now they're facing their own game pressure, and adversity strikes a little bit, maybe they might be a little bit overwhelmed in the moment. But for now, it appears like they don't care what series it is, what moment it is. They're just playing at a very high level. And for me, for Golden State in game 2, now that KD's out, it's about Iguodala's health. Where is he at? Because defensively speaking, if he's not on the court,
you got problems.
If he's not on the court, I don't know that Golden State has enough to match up with Toronto in the half court, which is crazy to think about, given what we were talking about 2 days ago.
Yeah, they'll need Durant to come back and not just for show at that point. He's going to need to come back and play well. Here's the thing, though. Here's why I'm not getting so carried away. I don't think. And by the way, they got nothing from Serge Ibaka last night, so he's capable of playing well too. So there's
Ibaka, Lowry, and Leonard can all play a lot better.
A lot better. So I'm looking at that again. 4 of the 5 starters, the only one that didn't score in double figures was Lowry, and he figures to do that.
Yeah, 1 point.
He had 7 points, but he was 2 of 9 from the. Yeah, he didn't do anything.
9 assists though.
Yeah, 9 assists. So they have 4 of their 5 starters go double figures, and then VanVleet goes with 15. So that's shocking, right? I mean, you don't expect that. Serge Ibaka doesn't play well. Why was McCaw on the floor at all? He did hit a 3 though, a big one. I didn't know why he was playing, and then he hit a 3.
Was that the one he hit over Klay?
Yes.
Yeah.
What the hell? Where did that come from? That's why if you're Golden State, you're like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
That was contested really well, closed out on.
You were going to hit that shot.
I think he might even got bumped, but he's not going to get that call, and it still went down.
It did. But if I'm making the argument for Toronto, I'm saying Lowry's going to score. Leonard's going to play better than he did. Leonard's still good defensively, and he was fine. He had 23 points, but he can shoot it better than he did.
Offensive efficiency, yes.
Yeah. He got to the free throw line. He was 10 of 12. That helped out, kind of offset for his 5 of 14. But what I'm worried about is that Ibaka will have a good game. I'm worried about, if I'm Golden State, that is. I'm worried Lowry will have a good game because he will at some point. I hope we have a series. I'm really hopeful. I think we do.
Look at Steph's output. I mean, he could play better, but not a whole lot better. He didn't play poorly last night.
They're just too reliant on those guys right now. Him and Klay.
Klay had an okay night. It wasn't the most efficient night in the world.
No. Well, if you're just going by plus-minus, he was a minus player, but I don't think that's
No, just talking about
good
from the field, just shooting from the field.
Yeah.
It wasn't the most efficient night. They went for 55 together between the two of them, and then Draymond only had 10. Now he had a triple-double, 10s across the board, but there's a lot of things that Golden State can do a little bit better, but it's not like they played terribly last night. I think that's the thing to note.
Well,
the 16 turnovers is something that they can do a lot better. They can capitalize on.
They can get back on defense and not give up transition layups.
Well, but they can capitalize off of misses. You know, that's the other thing. If Siakam's only going to miss 3 shots the entire night, you're not able to get out and transition a whole bunch.
Draymond Green will play better. He wasn't any good. 2 of 9 from the floor, and he wasn't very good. Got to the free throw line some, but he's a better player than that. Iguodala is a big deal.
That's what I'm saying. With KD out, that's a really big deal.
If he's hurt, yeah, they've got to.
The way they share the basketball, they're so willing on Toronto to share the basketball. It's not like Golden State isn't. Of course they are, especially without Durant in the lineup. But if Iguodala is hobbled, I mean, they're not afraid to go to option 4 in a half-court set.
Well, and Cousins didn't give him anything last night, really, that you can count on. He did well. Really, he gave them nothing. He was 0 for 2 from the floor. He played 8 minutes and didn't
hit his 3 or 4 free throws. That's it.
He also was never in the right spot defensively. So,
that's the thing. Toronto, we were talking like they have chemistry on offense, to cut slash and move around, and they know exactly what they're doing in their sets. But defensively, they rotate quite well too. When there's a wide open guy in the lane, you're surprised.
So if you're betting on changes, bet on a couple of things. One of the most overlooked aspects of Golden State's run through this entire thing, all of the years put together, has been how good they are defensively. Like, we always see the ball movement and the shots go in, and when you've got Steph and Klay, we're going to talk about guys' abilities to heat up and score 20 points in a quarter and make a ton of threes and do what they do, and we should. That probably never seen 2 better shooters on the same team. It's unbelievable, right? But they really defend. They really switch. They really have a great idea of what that system is and how to run it. Draymond is great defensively. A lot of guys contribute on both ends of the floor, and when they have to get stops, that's the underrated aspect of what they do. They get stops. I thought they didn't look good on defense last night. Part of that was Toronto making a lot of shots. Okay, tip your cap. Guys that don't normally make shots at that rate were making shots. But I also thought Golden State looked rusty, maybe more defensively than anything else.
I thought, and I know transition is usually reserved for off of misses or turnovers, right? But I thought Golden State was really sluggish getting into their half court. It took them a while to get into the sets. You saw quite a few possessions where Steph Curry is flustered as they're crossing the timeline. Their timing just looked off up the court, and it's not really that Toronto's pressing all that much.
No.
It looks like they're bothered. Something in their mind is bothering them. The timing just isn't right.
Timing was off, right. If you win, you cruise through. I mean, obviously, the way they cruised through Portland, I mean, they didn't really have much. They've been sitting back.
Yeah.
I mean, that's rust. I think you can make a compelling argument that a lot of that will change in Game 2. And everything about the way we talk about this series changes in Game 2 if Golden State wins it. Then they split on the road at a tough place to play, going back to Golden State, and we're all going to immediately flip back to, it was nice while it lasted. This is over. Golden State's going to win it, and I still think Golden State's going to win, but I will allow for the possibility that Toronto is that much better than we realize.
Now, if you apply the Tampa Bay Lightning mindset to this, you'd say, nope, they just don't have enough time to recover. It's just they haven't played meaningful basketball, and, it might be a best of 7, but we need probably a best of 11 in order to get back to our game.
Lightning as we sit out here and
you
watch.
Say freaking?
I said freaking. Okay. Freaking Lightning as we sit here and watch Boston and St. Louis in a series nobody's paying attention to.
No one.
1-1.
I can't muster up the energy to watch it. I can't do it.
Nice bounce back. I mean, it was a nice bounce back.
They scored 3. That's the key for St. Louis. If they could score 3, they're going to win some games.
They've been resilient. They're kind of fun. Damn it, man.
I wouldn't know.
Damn it, man. It still bothers me.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Jeep headquarters of America, Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. No other dealer can offer you this kind of savings. We buy in mass quantities and pass along the savings to you. 2018 Jeep Renegade Latitude, starting at $18,870. Payments as low as $299 a month. On the corner of West Tennessee and Capitol Circle, where we're right on the corner and always right on the price. Check us out on the web at TallahasseeDCJ.com. All prices include rebates and incentives plus tax, title, and dealer fees. State number 18J605. Must finance through Chrysler Capital and qualify for all rebates and incentives.
Hey, it's Flo with a super weird word, nightgown. If you ask me, it sounds less like clothes you wear to bed and more like things you say to your clothes. Good night, capri pants, sleep tight sweaters, nightgown. We've got a big day tomorrow. Now a weird word I just made up, flotection. It sounds like great protection for your new home through me and Progressive, and that's because it is. I said good night, capri pants, go to sleep.
Save an average of 17% on car insurance when you bundle home and auto through Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Discount not available in all states or situations.
The 7th Hill Tap Room on Appalachia Parkway is Tallahassee's premier location to try out the best craft brews from the state of Florida. With 14 self-service taps activated by cutting-edge technology, you can try as little or as much as you like from their full menu. Happy hours from 4 to 7 every day with the best craft beer deals in town. Enjoy the selection at their bar and pub tables or over a game of darts or shuffleboard. Find your new favorite brew. You can take home a 32-ounce can crowler, too. The 7th Hill Tap Room, Tallahassee's premier spot to enjoy local and Florida craft brews. 2475 Appalachia Parkway, underneath the Quarter Pocket Bar and Grill.
Hey, Tallahassee, it's me, the Capitol Building. I know you've cracked some jokes about my awesome tower and perfectly symmetrical domes. It's okay, because from on high, I see a serious problem in this town. Scores of people like yourself, confused, hungry, not knowing what to eat for a delicious downtown breakfast or lunch. Well, have no fear. Just a stone's throw away from my observation deck are the best people in the business. Metro Deli. Breakfast, eat, sandwiches, and wraps, too. Metro Deli is the spot for you. Oh, yeah, Metro Deli. And hey, don't throw stones from my deck. That's not cool. Someone might get hurt.
O'Reilly. O'Reilly Auto Parts offers O-Rewards points in-store and online. Earn points on everything from replacement parts to tools and accessories. And for every 150 points collected, you'll get a $5 reward. Earn points any way you shop. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
It may not be stomach issues.
For me, it's intense gas, or pain, or diarrhea, sometimes all at once, over and over.
I spent years with the symptoms, but could never figure it out.
No matter what I did, they never went away. So I decided to break it down for my doctor and get really specific about my symptoms.
We discovered that exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, may be the reason for my stomach issues.
EPI is caused by my pancreas. It leads to diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools. The symptoms just don't go away.
But EPI can show up with even one symptom.
The good news? EPI is manageable.
But to get to the right diagnosis, you have to break it down for your doctor and get specific about the severity of your symptoms.
Visit identifyepi.com to learn more and use the symptom checker to help change the conversation with your doctor. Brought to you by AbbVie.
With a roster full of young superstars, the sky's the limit for the 2019 Atlanta Braves, and we'll bring you every huge moment.
Fly ball to deep left center field. At the track, looking up, it's out of here!
Atlanta Braves baseball on 97.9 ESPN Radio is brought to you by Fonville, Lewis, Messer and McConaughey, Bagel Market Bistro, and by Early Trucking Company in Arlington, Georgia.
You're listening to The Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
So, oh, by the way, I can't tease it, not play it. It just because I want to smile. Go ahead and play This Time Last Year when we were laughing as a certain somebody forgot the score of the game.
J.R. Smith thought they had the lead. He didn't know that.
I hold on, player. We got to watch that again, man.
We gotta watch this again, man. You wasn't supposed to miss that free throw, man. Hey, JR, where you going, man? Where you going, man? Can't do that. What is he doing? Oh, shit. That's smoking. LeBron go whoop that boy. LeBron go whoop his ass, family. They cooking the shit out this boy, JR.
We are careful. It sometimes sounds like he's saying something more than he's saying, but if you listen to carefully, there's no curse words in there, and the ones that are there are bleeped out. But yeah, J.R. Smith, where are you going? Is still one of my favorites.
Hey, where you going, man?
I like that he takes the time to point out you're not supposed to miss the free throw, first of all. Mm-hmm. Like, I need you to go ahead and make this free throw, and this is a moot point. But oh, man.
Boy, he was saved by JR.
Yeah, that is, my goodness gracious. Across college baseball today, we start with the goodness, and that was that Florida State dominated in their first matchup in the Athens Regional against Florida Atlantic. Again, you hop in the car. We're giving you updates on that. The Noles have won 13-7. They cruised. They hit 6 home runs this afternoon. Pretty interesting the way that played out. Some games of note here, and I believe they're in a delay in the 9th inning of a 1-run ball game between Campbell and NC State. Campbell leads NC State 5-4. How do you like that delay?
You're going to sit and think about that, are you?
Think about the fact you're losing to Campbell. Yeah, that's got to hurt. Mississippi State leads Southern in a close game in the 8th inning, 9-6. Arkansas, there's a sport Arkansas can win in. They're up 9-2 against Central Connecticut.
I think the professor's had tickets there for the last 3 years.
He feels very comfortable about the baseball program. UNC Wilmington leading North Carolina 4-3 in the top of the 6th right now. They're just underway between Stanford and Sacramento State. Duke and Texas A&M just underway as well. No score there. Kind of fun to watch as we go through. I forgot it. I get energized. By the way, Florida A&M tonight plays at 7 o'clock. And so certainly we wish Florida A&M well. Coach Shoup and that FAMU baseball program have come to life over the last few years since he's taken over. They'll take on Georgia Tech. Probably not a good chance to win that game, but go Rattlers.
The Duke Texas A&M baseball game is the Johnny Manziel Camera Woman tribute game.
Oh, yeah. Right there, baby.
It was in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl.
Right there. Right in the chicklets. That was good stuff.
God, he ran over that woman.
Well, and he leapt into the air, and there was a little butt action there. There was a whole lot of going on there. That was good stuff. The University of Florida will take on Dallas Baptist at 8 o'clock tonight.
Really?
Dallas Baptist is the squad there.
Florida got Dallas Baptist, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a night game for Dallas Baptist?
8 o'clock.
Oh, my God.
They're ranked. They're good. Dallas Baptist ain't having it.
It's a night game. I don't know. Might be a little much.
Miami will take on Central Michigan tonight at 8 o'clock. And if you're feeling like I love you some college baseball on a Friday night, not only do we have a lot of West Coast MLB action, which will be good, but we do have Cincinnati and Oregon State, 10 o'clock. And the number 1 team in the land, UCLA, is taking on Omaha, as well as you could watch UC Santa Barbara against Fresno State. So late night college baseball to boot.
Yeah, UC Santa Barbara of Fresno State will be breaking in right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio with updates.
Can't wait. We'll get you those updates right off the bat, right? By the way, USC baseball has fired their coach. Told him to go to hell. And we're done with that. He was 188-201 in his time there.
Ooh, at SC?
Yeah, so that's the thing. That's what I mean, man. It's not surprising he gets fired. That's a program with rich history and national championships, etc. And let's bring it back home for a second. This is where Martin doesn't get enough credit. I mean, you and I do, but the people who have complained about a lack of a national championship, I understand that is aggravating. He should have won one somewhere along the way. We're not disputing that. But this is another example of there are no guarantees and the way that this thing fluctuates most places. Southern Cal is as good a job as there is in baseball, certainly one of the best jobs in baseball, best jobs in baseball. And this dude went 188 and 200. In 7 seasons, this loser was 12 games under 500.
At USC.
At USC. What are we doing?
There's an athletic department, again, where you go, guys.
Yeah.
You are USC. You were laughing at UCLA for doing the things you're doing right here, right now.
And UCLA is the number 1 seed.
They haven't lost a series this year. They said that on the FSU broadcast today.
That is correct.
Oh, my God.
To lose a series this year. That is hard to imagine, right? I said earlier this, we were talking about these regionals, and I first of all, I thought Florida State would get into the postseason for a variety of reasons. I thought their resume was good enough. It wasn't a great resume, wasn't an impressive resume, but in a year in which, I don't know, it's hard to find 10 teams you feel really good about in college baseball. I thought they would get in. Secondarily, the hard part with this stuff is whenever the West Coast teams are considered to be elite, or Pacific Northwest, Oregon State for the last several years, UCLA this year out in California is the number 1 team in the land with just 8 losses and no series losses at all. It's hard to handicap. It's hard to know what's what because I'm not going to sit here and tell you I've seen UCLA play this year. I have briefly, but not long. I didn't stay for a whole game. They were on one night. I was flipping around and I watched a little bit. But I certainly haven't seen Oregon State play this year. I haven't seen a lot of these teams play on the West Coast that are, you can just look at their stats. That's all you can do. But in college baseball especially, that doesn't tell the story. Doesn't always tell the story. And again, because the kids are subject much more to the whims of emotion, as I like to say on the show, all the time. And I was kind of banking on a little of that magic for Florida State where because kids are kind of whatever's happened most recently, it's as far as affecting momentum and affecting belief, this was such a weird team. When they were down, they were really down, and they stayed down for long stretches at a time. And then they got hot, and they got really hot. They began to club the baseball and played really well for a stretch, and reverted back to not being very good. And that has more to do with the fact that they're not good defensively. So they're going to have games they just throw away because they don't pick up the ball, and they give people extra outs. And they don't have a great depth of pitching in terms of front line. They got 2 guys they kind of count on, Van Eck especially these days. Drew, here and there, has a good start, bad start, great start.
He did enough today.
Yeah, well, anyhow.
That's all you could ask.
Yeah, well, on a day when the wind was blowing out and all that other stuff, whatever. But the one thing, when they scored 11 runs when they had to have it, when they dominated NC State, when they had to have it, when they felt good about themselves walking off that field, I thought, who knows? They got nothing to lose. Maybe it carries over into Athens. Kids are weird. I mean, if they were really being, analytical about it, they'd look back and go, we're not any good. But the kids don't do that. They're like, we just clubbed 11 runs. Screw you. Let's go kick ass. And nobody's going to say
NC State was a top 20 RPI.
Right. And so nobody's going to go, well, we should really look at the big picture, guys. No, that's right. You guys are awesome. Let's go get them in Athens. I mean, who knows?
Here's a fun doomsday scenario for some people here in Tallahassee. Let's say that we actually get the job done and we win the whole bleeping thing.
The national championship.
We win the national championship.
Oh.
And on the dais for the championship celebration, everybody's together now. Everybody's holding hands, even the people who couldn't stand Martin because this is unbelievable. We won the title. And he's leaving.
Half of Tallahassee would be in tears.
And they announced that they've extended him for 5 more years.
That's a funny thing because I knew it's kind of where you were going.
How do you think the fan base would take it?
In the moment, if he had just won a freaking national championship.
I still think the people would be so pissed.
Because they're ready?
They're ready. A lot of them. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And you know who.
It reminds me, Steve Spurrier brought this up all those years ago, and then he violated his own principle. And I think he regretted it. Obviously, he regretted it. But
so much so he quit on his team.
Quit on his team is right. The idea he once threw out there that a coach is anywhere for 10 years or more, that people get to where they want to move on. They're tired of it. They want a new set of eyes. They want something different. Now, at the time that he said it, Nick Saban didn't exist in this current capacity. Like, Nick's probably got a lifetime deal at Alabama. I mean,
well, was he talking specifically football? Because, Coach K, they're not tired of him.
No. Well, because not enough people care about basketball. But yeah, I think he's talking about football.
Screw you, pal.
I think he's talking about I think he was talking about football, and he was saying that in truth, you probably don't need to stay much more than 10 years at any one place. Everybody's ready to move on from each other by then. At the time, I thought I'm not so sure that's true. I mean, if you win 3 national championships in 10 years, and the other seasons aren't losing seasons, people will have you back. But to his point, certainly by the end at Oklahoma, there was a growing crowd of anti-Bob Stoops. And all Bob did was get to the college football playoffs on the regular.
Yeah, I'd say, too, again, looking back at that, he left at the perfect time. Because you're recruiting classes in. I mean, the summer is the perfect time to change the
and people got mad at him. But he left at a perfect time because he already had the offensive coordinator who they were going to promote.
Right.
And it was easy to do that.
But even still, let's just say that he feared, because he loved Riley, that they were going to come and there would be a real coaching search for the successor, Bob Stoops' successor. It's too late in the game.
No,
for anybody but within.
Lincoln Riley, yeah.
I mean, it is perfectly executed.
Yeah, and what's funny about that is, in retrospect, we all immediately, because it came out of left field, nobody suspected it. There was nothing, not a hint that this was coming. Remember, we came into work in the middle of the summer another sleepy day, and we're kind of looking for things to talk about that day. Show prep.
Breaking news.
Dude, Bob Stoops just rolled the hell out of OU. And what is weird, though, is that I've still got family in Oklahoma, and there is still an interest that I have in OU football. The people there was a group that was growing each year that they would come up short in the postseason, or they'd lose a big bowl game. They get blown out by Cole Stout at Clemson, or something weird would happen. People would be like, I don't know with Bob, man. I mean, I know he got us that title and he brought us back to glory, and it happened quick. Bob's problem is it happened really quick. I mean, he obviously he got there, turned it around immediately. Unfortunately, the culmination being at our expense in the national championship game, wins that national title, never wins another one. Now, he got back and had opportunities, and certainly it wasn't his fault that he had to play cheating-ass USC, one of the greatest teams ever purchased. But, that one hurt him. Probably should have beat Florida. I mean, if they don't give up the touchdown at the end of the half, they're going to beat Florida.
Yeah, that was a rough night for old Bob.
Well, that second half was.
Mm-hmm. Jeez. You got to cash in with Bradford the way he was.
That was a really good Florida team. It wasn't like that was a sorry football team.
No, but Oklahoma did have more than a fighting chance in that game.
Well, if they don't give up the score there late, they're probably going to win the game.
And then,
but the point, he had moments like this where he came up short in these games.
Yeah, the Varsity Blues speech from old.
Oh Jesus!
My favorite Met.
Is he still hitting a $104?
We should have a weekly sponsored feature of what's Tim Tebow hitting in Syracuse.
Oh, God. We'll check during the break. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Services, TSparkConstruction.com.
It's been many months since Hurricane Michael devastated our area. Many people are still dealing with the damages and finding it hard to get a local contractor to contact them. Are you struggling with getting assistance to fix your damages? Are you feeling like your insurance company is not being fair? If your answer is yes to any of these questions, we can help. My name is Travis, owner of T-Spark Enterprises, and I'm asking you to give us a call today for your free consultation. Let my company guide you through the process to get your home back to normal.
Call 850-766-1340. T-Spark Enterprises. prices, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, TSparkConstruction.com.
License number CCC 1331204.
The Jeff Cameron Show podcast, available on demand at ESPNTallahassee.com and on iTunes today. The Jeff Cameron Show podcast is brought to you by Garnet and Gold of Tallahassee. When you buy FSU apparel, support local business. GarnetandGold.com.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
It may not be stomach issues.
For me, it's intense gas, or pain, or diarrhea, sometimes all at once, over and over.
I spent years with the symptoms, but could never figure it out.
No matter what I did, they never went away. So I decided to break it down for my doctor and get really specific about my symptoms.
We discovered that exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, may be the reason for my stomach issues.
EPI is caused by my pancreas. It leads to diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools. The symptoms just don't go away.
But EPI can show up with even one symptom.
The good news? EPI is manageable.
But to get to the right diagnosis, you have to break it down for your doctor and get specific about the severity of your symptoms.
Visit identifyepi.com to learn more and use the symptom checker to help change the conversation with your doctor. Brought to you by AbbVie.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. Warriors coach Steve Kerr now confirms Kevin Durant is out for Sunday's Game 2 of the NBA Finals. Durant still hasn't practiced. He has a strained right calf. The Raptors took Game 1 at home behind 32 points from Pascal Siakam. ESPN's Richard Jefferson.
This man goes 14 for 17, has 32 points, and only shot 2 free throws. That means that no one fouled him. That means no one sent a message. Like, this is the NBA Finals. There needs to be more aggression from the Warriors. There needs to be more push. There needs to be more intensity. I'm sorry. A wing player should not make 14 field goals and only have 2 free throws. That means that you're not hitting him enough. That means you're not physical enough. And that's just a problem. If we're going to talk about that, the Warriors they shot 50% from the field, 40% from the 3, and 85% from the free throw line, the Toronto Raptors did. And to me, that's just not good enough.
Richard Jefferson on Golick and Wingo. Game 2 coverage from Toronto starts Sunday at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio, ABC, and the ESPN app. New Green Bay Packers head coach Matt LaFleur will have surgery Sunday for a torn Achilles tendon. He got hurt on the basketball court at the team facility during OTAs. Number 2 women's seed Karolina Pliskova is out today at the French Open. Knocked off in straight sets by Petra Martic. Other winners today, Sloane Stephens, Madison Keys, Roger Federer, and Rafael Nadal. The NHL clears Capitals center Evgeny Kuznetsov after a video surfaced appearing to show Kuznetsov in a hotel room with white powder on a table. Troy Merritt is the leader right now in the second round at the Memorial. He shoots 66 today. He's at 9 under par.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's Libations Friday, brought to you by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Corner Pocket Bar and Grill on Appalachie Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Oh.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Happy Libations Friday. I'll say it right now, man. We were just talking about it during the break. Jameis Winston's going to have a good year. He is. He's going to have a good year. He's working harder than he's ever worked, I think, and he's always been a hard worker. That's never been in question. I know a lot of people roll their eyes. They hear that. That's not true. You can question any number of things about Jameis Winston. Work ethic isn't one of them. So I think he will, but he looks better. If you're watching the things that are coming out of the NFL camps, the OTAs, and the various workout videos you find online, all that stuff, I get it. Shorts, T-shirts, all that stuff. He's thicker, stronger, and I think more dedicated to the task than ever before. Here's a guy, take it for what it's worth. You're not required to do this to lead a good life. You're not required to do this in order to make it and find focus. But I don't think it'll hurt in his case. He's rededicated himself to his religion, and he has obviously become a father, and he doesn't drink, and that's been for some time now. But he seems, and he's just getting older, just by way of getting older, right? All of these things seem to be adding up to a guy who is almost of singular focus when it comes to saving his career at quarterback in Tampa Bay. And I also think the right coach is in place. He did not get along with Dirk. Dirk was, in some ways, early in Jameis's career, good for him. And we forget, obviously, he went to a Pro Bowl. He had good seasons, plural. But Dirk never wanted him and didn't fully believe in him, and it seemed like every time things began to go well, something would lead to, you wondering whether or not they were on the same page. It would either be a comment that Dirk made or something that Jameis inferred, and you'd say, are they having problems behind the scenes? And I think the answer to that was yes, they were. They didn't always see things the same way. And Jameis was incredibly immature. He was very immature. Remember how young he was going into the league? He made mistakes. These are grown-ass men. The rah-rah stuff and the eating W's is dumb. It doesn't work. I mean, you got 30-year-olds worried about staying in the league. It's not about emotion necessarily. It's about doing your job. And so I think he's probably matured just by being in it, learning from mistakes, obviously, and just getting older. We all mature at different rates. And the guy you hear from now, and I'd like to get him on this summer. I think I'll be able to. I think he seems refocused, and that isn't to imply that he never was. It's just that I think things have lined up well for him now. I think he's kind of got there's a clear line of delineation from the guy that would lose sight of the bigger picture at times and the guy that you see now.
Well, I think, he's we've talked about this when we're just in the trenches, so to speak, of a 16-game season, where Jameis is about going and getting a win, and Dirk is about getting a lead and protecting a lead. Those aren't the same philosophies, and that's really hard, because if Dirk was a defensive coordinator by trade, elevated to head coach, wouldn't be an issue. But he was, like Jimbo was, offensive coordinator, lead quarterbacks coach, was the quarterback's psychoanalyst, if you will, and they had a hard time. I think at their very root, they are different people, whereas Bruce Arians is a little bit more in the mold of a Jimbo Fisher, where
Bruce
he'll
wants
tell
to
you
get
like
the ball
it is.
down the damn field. He'll tell you when you make mistakes. He's a straight shooter, but he's got your back.
Like Dirk would tell him when he made mistakes, but he wasn't a straight shooter. He doesn't always have your back, so it's harder to receive that criticism from somebody you believe that maybe he's undercutting you.
I always thought it was odd that Dirk contradicted himself a lot. And so once we know this, right? You see it in the videos with Jameis when he's mic'd up in preseason. Jameis is smart. A lot of people don't realize that. He's a smart guy. And when he would hear Dirk say one thing and do another, and then a week later it would change again, I think at that point he was off of him. He was done. And then when he didn't have his back publicly after he was playing through injury, he was really done with him. And you get the sense that once he's done, because you go back, think about Austin Seferian-Jenkins. That relationship was doomed real quick because Austin didn't want to work. And so Seferian-Jenkins gets there into camp, and he doesn't practice one day, and Jameis says, what? Right off the bat. Something about not practicing. You're like, whoa, okay, well, he's done with him. He's done with him. And he was that way with certain offensive linemen yucking up on the sidelines and things like that. I mean, that's...
I don't know that it's in his personality. It's something we've talked about a lot over the years, but maybe a coaching change could allow for Jameis in a certain situation to be that person.
If you have your own house in order, you can do that. if everything about the way you're living is on the up and up,
that's a good point.
You can then do that
because it wasn't.
Right.
How can he claim?
Right.
Yeah.
You can't control.
When you're suspended for 3 games.
No, right. You cannot. You don't get the moral high ground for sure, and you certainly can't chastise others. And so I think it's a big deal. I think all the things I laid out there about where he's at with his faith, where he's at with his lifestyle in terms of both working out, eating, all that stuff. He seems really being a father, being committed to that. I think who knows? He could fool us all. It could be something of he's doing well and then all has a setback. I don't think so, man. I don't. Well, especially when you, again, Tom, you got to go back a ways to when that incident with the Uber driver occurred. I mean, we're now how far removed from that?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, years.
Yeah,
years. I believe the turnaround started then.
Yes, I believe so too. I'll always harbor deep disappointment that the message did not sink home at Florida State.
Well, I don't disagree with that, but it again was years ago,
but that message, okay, that may have changed the way he viewed his off the field, but I don't think the switch flipped for him until Dirk benched him. Like, Dirk will always be instrumental if his career takes off. That benching will be instrumental in the development of Jameis, the quarterback that we saw towards the back half of last season, and the quarterback that we're going to see moving forward. The hard part, I think, for you, me, Buck and Knowles, who believe in Jameis, who do actually believe in Jameis.
There's also physical evidence that he is potentially an elite quarterback. I can go through 6-game stretches where I show you, and you know the numbers.
Sure, but I mean, as fans of Jameis, they actually believe in the guy.
Yeah.
He's never going to get credit for it. If he takes off this season and he goes on to have a big career, it's always going to be that Bruce Arians was the one that saved him.
Well,
that is the narrative walking in the door. That'll be the narrative because people won't want to give him credit for it.
They won't. People won't, but I don't care about that because, A, he will have forged a great career in Tampa and will be the better off for it as fans of the Buccaneers, right? Now, secondly, I would say this. At some point, you got to make the throws. I mean, people give Tom Brady credit, but Bill Belichick is a badass coach. If Tom Brady had gone to, I use this example all the time, had gone to Arizona and been the backup to whomever at the time, Kurt Warner or whatever, then okay.
Yeah, Dick Duran was his coach.
Yeah. Would he be what he is? I think he'd be a very good player. He'd be a starter in the league. Obviously, he was driven, focused, talented, all those things. But, at some point, you got to give the guy credit. Whomever it is.
Right. Well, if he went to the Texans when the elder Carr was there,
he was taking ass kicking after ass kicking.
He would have lasted 2 years.
He'd have been out of the league. A lot of these guys, the truth of the matter is they go to the wrong place at the wrong time and they get it beaten out of them. And then, so it's interesting because we do this thing where we, across generations, we argue what a player was or was not, and we do it by looking at numbers. And when you're looking at numbers, it's not always a fair comparison. It's not apples to apples because the rules were different in the league. The way the game was called, the emphasis, all that stuff changes over time. So some guys' numbers are going to be sort of flat. I saw Troy Aikman get mentioned in this regard recently, and of course he's on a loaded team with the all-time leading rusher, and you got Michael Irvin, you got Jay Novacek, Daryl Johnston,
the best offensive line.
Yeah, an incredible offensive line on down the list. Whether you're talking about Stepnoski and all these other guys, it was incredible, right? But I'll say this: that guy came into the league, was thrust into the starting position in which they went 1-15, and he was beaten nearly to death. He missed the last few games because he was knocked out. And he still had the what for to come back and forge a Hall of Fame career, a great career. Even if you want to argue just how great, that's fine. That's mental toughness. That's physical and mental toughness. You got a little something to you at that point. So you could say, well, yeah, but he greatly benefited. He still had to do that. He still had to go out there and not have the game beaten out of him. How many guys have taken those kinds of beatings and then just been out of the league, like you just mentioned? He didn't. He had toughness to him, right? Brad Johnson is never going to be mistaken for Aaron Rodgers, but he was a smart quarterback, and he hung around long enough, taking beating after beating after beating to play 14 years and be able to forge a career in which he had 3 different 4,000-yard seasons, make a Pro Bowl, win a Super Bowl. That you got to give him some credit at some point. You just do. And I think if Jameis goes on now and has 5, 6, 7 really good years, sure, in the beginning they're going to say, well, that's Bruce Arians. Bruce Arians came and saved his career. Instead of saying, look at Jameis Winston. Good on you, Jameis. They're going to say, look at Bruce saving Jameis. Fine. But year 4, year 5, year 6 of that dude, at some point you got to admit, Jameis freaking Winston is good. They'll have to. They just will.
Yeah, his quarterback rating in the last, I think it was 6 games of this season, and he had one stinker in there.
One bad game in there.
It was a 101.9.
He was fantastic at the end of the year.
I looked at that, and I compared it to Brady's seasons, his 18 seasons in the league. It would be top 5 or 6 of all the years that Brady's played.
Now, it gets a little bit easier to amass a quarterback rating in this era.
Yeah. Oh, well, I think Brady's career is actually a perfect place to look because it spans these 2 decades, the 2000s and the 10s. And like all of his best years, except for 1 or 2, are in this most recent decade because the game's changed.
Game's changed, by the way. I think the great comparison to do for styles of play, body type, one's a better athlete than the other. Andrew Luck's a better athlete than Jameis Winston. But those 2 guys tend to take too many chances, tend to make too many turnovers, tend to make amazing throws and amazing plays that make you want more. And both would be considered upper echelon, but a little squeamish with the turnovers. They're at a similar place. It'll be fascinating to watch both of them moving forward. Now, Indianapolis has a much better offensive line. Final hour forthcoming.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Program that helps people with damaged credit. And every new Altima and Rogue we sell has both special interest rates and rebates. You get both, plus $1,000 over Kelley Blue Book for your trade. Best of all, my people are the best in the business. They will greet you with a smile and a handshake, and they know your time is valuable. My managers are always accessible, and of course, you can always ask for me or my brother Peter. Bottom line, if you need a new or pre-owned car, you need to experience the Kraft Nissan difference. Great people, great product, great price, with the best car buying experience in town. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. Remember, if you don't see the Kraft tag on your car, you paid too much, way too much.
We're back with a state champion. That's right, a state champion head coach. His name is Titus Nixon. He is the basketball coach at St. John Paul II Catholic High School. Coach, how you doing today?
Doing great, Tom.
So I've got 2 questions, and the first one I'm going to ask you about is the state championship. What made this year, this team, so special?
If I had to use one word, I would say resiliency. We preached that word from the first day of practice that no matter what happens, we as a group need to stick together and we need to form a brotherhood that is so tight that nothing can break us. And our group was talented, but I think what made them so special is that they were resilient when things got hard. Instead of severing and breaking apart, they instead came together even stronger, and then also selfless, that this group put the team above themselves in a way that I have hardly ever seen in sports, whether it be on the high school, college, or pro level. And I think that's what made this year's 2019 state champions at JP2 so special.
It sounds like even though you built a culture, a championship culture at that, at JP2, it doesn't just come from the basketball program itself.
JP2 is a wonderful family environment. It is a school that prides itself in helping students develop and form in mind, body, and spirit. It truly is a family atmosphere.
For more information about athletics, academics, student life, visit sjpiichs.org for St. John Paul II Catholic High School.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. It's Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Driving every day from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio. WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. Warriors coach Steve Kerr now confirms Kevin Durant is out for Sunday's Game 2 of the NBA Finals. Durant still hasn't practiced. He has a strained right calf. The Raptors took Game 1 at home behind 32 points from Pascal Siakam. ESPN's Richard Jefferson.
This man goes 14 for 17, has 32 points, and only shot 2 free throws. That means that no one fouled him. That means no one sent a message. Like, this is the NBA Finals. There needs to be more aggression from the Warriors. There needs to be more push. There needs to be more intensity. I'm sorry. A wing player should not make 14 field goals and only have 2 free throws. That means that you're not hitting him enough. That means you're not physical enough. And that's just a problem. If we're going to talk about that, the Warriors they shot 50% from the field, 40% from the 3, and 85% from the free throw line, the Toronto Raptors did. And to me, that's just not good enough.
Richard Jefferson on Golick and Wingo. Game 2 coverage from Toronto starts Sunday at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio, ABC, and the ESPN app. New Green Bay Packers head coach Matt LaFleur will have surgery Sunday for a torn Achilles tendon. He got hurt on the basketball court at the team facility during OTAs. Number 2 women's seed Karolina Pliskova is out today at the French Open. Knocked off in straight sets by Petra Martic. Other winners today, Sloane Stephens, Madison Keys, Roger Federer, and Rafael Nadal. The NHL clears Capitals center Evgeny Kuznetsov after a video surfaced appearing to show Kuznetsov in a hotel room with white powder on a table. Troy Merritt is the leader right now in the second round at the Memorial. He shoots 66 today. He's at 9 under par.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's Libations Friday, brought to you by Quarter Pocket Bar and Grill. Quarter Pocket Bar and Grill on Appalachian Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Final hour of the Jeff Cameron Show, at least for today and the week. Thanks for tuning to it. Hope you're well. Appreciate you joining us. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go. Listen live via the streaming free always. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you're well. Periscopers. If you're on YouTube, you get to see my face peeling. How exciting for you. You can email the show if you like, JCS at 979ESPNradio.com. On Twitter, it's at Jay Cameron Show. WTSM app, good for your mobile devices. Knowles win and win big. There we go, buddy.
Stick 'em in your mouth and suck 'em.
As predicted, cruising through the Athens Regional. I got
Stick 'em in your mouth and suck 'em.
I got you guys. Don't worry about it. Cruising. 13-7, 6 home runs, 20 hits. Get you some FAU. Ball was flying out today there in Athens, and that's good. Good news for Florida State. If it gets it to be a home run hitting contest, we got some guys that can leave the yard.
There was 9 home runs in all in this game after Florida State hit one in the 9th inning.
Yeah, that ball was...
Yes.
That was one of the ones that were...
Yeah, Florida State was...
struck.
I think we were the beneficiary of 1 or 2 wind-aided home runs, but definitely one I saw that left to left center field.
Yeah, there were some bombs hit. Drew Mendoza hit one early in the game that, my goodness gracious.
Parrish threw one. It was low and away, and it went off the end of the bat, and the thing just was in the air forever. And you're like, wow, that's going to leave? I wondered if they brought the old 1990s Louisville Slugger aluminum bats with them or something. But then the broadcast showed that the old American flag out there in center field was blowing and gusting.
Were you going to say Old Glory?
I couldn't think of Old Glory. I
could tell you were like
old Bessie.
What? Martha was flying high.
Old Bessie was.
What in the world? It's been a long week.
It has been, oddly. And there's been 4 days in it.
13-7, Florida State. They win. They'll play tomorrow night at 7 is correct? I believe that is. Yeah, tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. Last night, Game 1, NBA Finals. A lot of fun. Yay, Toronto. All right. Yeah, role player's going to go crazy. I'll take it. And, I don't know that they're going to get 4 of their 5 starters to go double-digit efforts each night, or 5 different players for that matter, including one off the bench who had 15 to put up double-digit points. But on a night where Kawhi wasn't shooting all that well, they got more than enough from others. And I like Siakam, but my God, was he good last night. They won't be able to do that again, but they might be able to do enough to turn this into a 7-game series or maybe even win it. I think that while I was one who gave them credit, I liked the way they played this year. I didn't think they certainly could win the series, and so I'm beginning to wonder if maybe they've done this thing that we sometimes see where you're a good team, not an overwhelmingly great team. Maybe you're in a market where we don't get to see a lot of you. We know about Kawhi. We know that a few role players are pretty good. We know they were an interesting team a year ago too, of course, and they came up short, and then they made some changes, and so it felt a little bit desperate. But I certainly give them credit for going for it, for saying, listen, we got Kawhi for now. We got to do something here. And they didn't like the way things ended a year ago. So they did. But occasionally teams like this will get into the playoffs, and if they're not, in a major market and they haven't been sustainably good for a long period of time, and they're sort of a Johnny-come-lately, then you're not as apt to give them the full benefit of the doubt of what they're capable of. But then they get rolling and they get believing and they start trusting one another and they play well off of each other and they're learning as they go along and they're winning games. And then they get this moment where something happens and they believe wholeheartedly they can win it. And they begin to play a little bit above their head. And Toronto in the Milwaukee series, there's just no getting around the fact that when you're down 2-0 and you're up against it and you rattle off 4 straight wins, and the crowd is the way that they are in Toronto, certainly that extra man that gives them life, that place is a lot of fun to watch a game, it looks like to me, and certainly there's an energy
it's
there.
Charged,
yeah, it's charged, right? And they play off of that. And so if their role players aren't going to be scared, if their role players are going to step into shots with confidence and play to that extent or anything close to it, okay, all right, maybe they got a shot. And maybe Golden State does need Kevin Durant. They could have used him last night. Right now, they're really reliant on Steph and Klay. And if Iguodala's injury is such, because he looked like he got hurt there at the end, if his injury is such that he can't be a big contributor, especially not defensively if that happens, well, then Golden State has problems. Because I don't know when Durant's coming back. They announced today he's not going to be back for Game 2. And I've had suspicions he's not coming back, but of course, I'm not a doctor, and I'm not in that locker room, so I don't know for sure. But I've wondered about with that injury being a calf injury.
Oh, well, Toronto was so effective last night. I think the key sequence for them, if you're talking about the first half, was the way they closed in the second quarter to get that thing to double digits and to hold it, because it looked like Golden State was going to go on a mini run and maybe get it down to 5 or 6. But then Toronto extends, and they have that comfortable lead at the break. So comfortable, in fact, that at halftime I didn't really want to watch because it's not the TNT crew, which is awesome. So I didn't really care what Paul Pierce had to say or Billups. And Scent of a Woman was on. So I flipped over to Scent of a Woman. And it was all the good scenes.
Mm-hmm.
It was, the Ferrari and the
Did you
tango.
get the Thanksgiving Day scene?
I missed that.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
But it was, the tango, the Ferrari, and then the confrontation and the dress blues, all that stuff. It's a really, really good movie. But that Toronto was ahead for basically the rest of the game. That if I was 30 seconds late or a minute late, it didn't really matter because I knew I wasn't missing the key moment in the game. Toronto had that thing pretty much on cruise control, save for a little blip on the radar in the fourth quarter where it looked like Golden State could get it to within 2 possessions. And I feel like the funny thing is if Golden State got it to 5 or 6, they probably were going to go on to win the game, but they never could crack that deficit in the final 10 minutes.
Couldn't make that shot. They couldn't hit a big shot to get them to within a possession, and where you would begin to feel the lateness of things, the weightiness of the moment, right? I would say, first of all, I agree with you. I told my wife, and she didn't care. I doubt she heard me because I was sitting on the couch watching the game, and she was, I think, reading a letter or something. And I went, Literally, I think she was. We're catching up on some mail, Tom.
Was it Paul to the Romans?
No, it was letters to her. But so she's catching up, and so we're sitting there, and I go, if Golden State gets this thing tied, I'm really worried for Toronto because this would be a hell of a game to lose. They've led the whole way. She said nothing back, and I continued to watch, having felt satisfied by saying what I needed to say.
But it felt that way in the fourth quarter. Like, oh, boy.
Oh, if they lost that game, they're going to get swept.
Exactly. It's like you go on a quick 8-0 run, and you're going to sweep the series.
Oh, well, and I wonder, and I think Golden State probably realized it too. They've been in enough situations where if they could have done that, it could have happened. But at the end of the day, it didn't happen. Give Toronto credit. Different guys hit shots in big moments that you would not have suspected they'd be capable of or have the what for to hit at a time like that. So I just more guys hit shots when they had to hit shots, and whose names many people at home would have been, looking up. Like, what is he? Who's that guy? Why is he hitting shots? But again, I want to see a 7-game series. I want to see a war. I want to see something fun. I want drama. I want competition at its best. Toronto gave us a chance last night by winning that game to provide such a series. I felt like if they lost game 1 at home, coming off a 4-game win streak over Milwaukee, that would have been disastrous. We would have been rolling our eyes and probably disinterested in the rest of the series. Instead, they win. They win convincingly. They look really good doing it. They look confident while they do it. And now you have my attention. Okay.
Which is the most important thing of all.
Well,
they have your attention.
They have it had my attention. I was going to watch either way, but if they'd lost last night, I don't know that I would have been glued.
Yeah. Sunday, maybe it's not in the rotation.
It's over there.
Maybe a documentary.
I'll catch up, something like that. We'll see. Florida State wins. Again, you hopping in the car. The news is good. Knowles cruised today. They hit 6 home runs. They win 13-7 over Florida Atlantic. It was a hitter's paradise today in that ballpark with the wind blowing up. But the Knowles handled themselves well, led the entire game, hit 3 home runs in the second inning, batted around, got out to a 5-0 lead, never trailed. Good first game of the regional for Florida State.
Yeah, Drew Mendoza hit a couple of home runs, hit a double down the left field line against the shift, which was good to see. But Tim Becker, congratulations, if I could say your last name. Tim Becker. He was an FSU club baseball player.
2 home runs today.
2 home runs. He had appeared in 38 games this season, but only 32 at-bats. So think about that.
Basically a defensive replacement.
You're a defensive replacement, but he bats 9 today, and I think he's going to do it again tomorrow.
My guess would be he gets in the lineup tomorrow.
2 home runs, the first 2 of his career.
Congrats to Florida State. That game sets up the next game similarly to the Toronto Golden State series. You have my attention. Here we go.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
With craft beers on tap from all the local breweries. And The Hobbit is your home for all the UFC fights with plenty of high-def TVs for everyone. Be on the lookout for the food truck coming soon with the best lip-smacking wings in town. Hobbit American Grill, celebrating 40 years of serving great food to great friends for good times. For info on their hours and 3 locations, visit them online at myhobbitonline.com.
Hey, I'm Jeff Doxey, Realtor for Capital Property Consultants, representing Premier Fine Homes. If you're thinking of owning your own brand new Premier home, call or text me at 850-545-4747 or email me, jeffdoxey1@gmail.com. You say where, I'll be there. Your Canopy Connection.
Yuengling Golden Pilsner, a highly sessionable beer, golden in both name and color. Yuengling Golden Pilsner is the perfect balance of hop and malt character for crisp and smooth thirst-quenching refreshment. Cheer for your garnet and gold with Yuengling Golden Pilsner. Yuengling, brewing good times for 190 years. Must be 21 or older. Please drink responsibly. A message from local beverage distributor Triangle Sales.
Fonville Lewis Mester McConaughey sponsors Braves baseball so that all of you can enjoy the action. Ever since the days of Hank Aaron and Dale Murphy, we've been Tallahassee's home run hitting law firm. And because we don't get paid unless we win, we want to win every case as much as Chipper Jones wanted to win every game. So when you're injured, don't just trust any law firm to handle your case. Make the call to the bullpen for a trusted closer. To see our stats on the back of our baseball card, visit wrongfullyinjured.com. Fonville Lewis Mester McConaughey. Personal injury law is all we do.
I give to you easy laundry service from my friends at Wash Around the Clock. Oh, buddy, this is a game changer. If you're like me, your life is hectic. Between work, school, your kids' sporting events and activities, well, it leaves you precious little time to kick back and take a load off. About the last thing you want to do is hours of laundry, but there it sits, staring at you, taunting. No more. That's right, more watching, less washing. Save hours of valuable time when you sign up not doing laundry with easy laundry service from Wash Around the Clock. Whether it's dry cleaning or just plain laundry, Wash Around the Clock's easy laundry service will pick up and deliver at your home or office. So sign up for free today at easylaundry.net, or you can give them a call, 850-597-9007. Again, sign up today at easylaundry.net. Oh, and by the way, I got you. Use promo code JCS20 and save 20%. That's promo code JCS20. You're saving 20% on your first order. That's easylaundry.net from Wash Around the Clock.
Want your office to shine like never before? The New Century Cleaning Services is your next call. New Century Cleaning Services is celebrating 20 years in Tallahassee, partnering with businesses big and small, from universities and banks to doctors' offices and radio stations. New Century Cleaning Service is licensed, insured, and all employees are bonded. They clean 1 million square feet of commercial space per day and feature carpet treatments, floor waxing, and general office cleanup. Plus, they can supply you with paper products, soaps, and sanitizers, too. To help your office step into the 21st century, call New Century Cleaning today at 894-6226 or visit newcenturycleaning.com. That's newcenturycleaning.com.
Hardee's used to think bowls were useless dishware. Then we created the new loaded hash round bowl. Crispy potatoes, fluffy eggs, sausage gravy, melted cheddar, and crumbled bacon. Now part of our 2 for $4 mix and match deal. No longer are bowls just college football games you can nap to. Now they're loaded with Hardee's delicious breakfast favorites and in our 2 for $4 mix and match. Try a bowl today. They're actually really useful. Hardee's, because it tastes better.
Available for a limited time during regular breakfast hours at participating restaurants. Tax not included. Price and participation may vary.
You're locked in with the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Can't believe I'm bringing this up. I'm only bringing it up for a second, then I'm moving on to something else. I really hope that Draymond Green punches Drake before the end of the series. It would just be incredibly cool theater. I'd like to see that happen. Why was Drake wearing a damn headband on his arm like he's about to get put into the game in the fourth quarter? Stop doing that, man. What are you doing? It's absurd. And I don't know why Toronto would allow him to sit there and yell at players. It's crazy. But I did do some research and find out that the reason for wearing a jersey, wearing a sweatband, as if you're going to get put into the game, is because he has 2 Golden State tattoos that he's covering up.
Well, he decided to wear a Curry jersey, though.
Yeah.
Dell's Raptors jersey.
Yeah.
Just to be kind of down the middle. Listen, man, you know what? Marvin Wilson. There we go.
It's absurd. Why do you have a Kevin Durant tattoo? And why do you have a Steph Curry tattoo? That's weird.
Maybe they hang out after the games.
But
I don't know.
You're a Toronto fan. Well, I don't know.
Maybe KD is a Drake tattoo.
Perhaps.
Hey, Drake, let's get matching tattoos. What do you say, pal?
I did hear 5 minutes of it today. Apparently, Stu Gotts and I are on the same page. I don't know if that's a good thing or not about the Kevin Durant roll your eyes at the need for affirmation from others thing. He was saying that this works out perfect for Kevin. Now Kevin has to come back and he'll look like a hero, which is the only thing that would make him feel good about himself. Not winning, but just getting the affirmation. And I was like, there you go, Stu Gotts. I'm with you. That guy. That said, I have more hatred, I think, certainly for Drake than I do Kevin Durant.
So I heard one of their segments today, and it was a good one because it was who is the backup catcher, who is in the backup catcher Hall of Fame. And everybody can think of some awesome backup catchers.
And a lot of times you just like them because you know they had to be tough as nails.
They're the everyman. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, for a good part of early part of his career, the answer to that question would have been David Ross.
Mm-hmm. His name was brought up.
Yeah. And it makes sense. Late in his career, David started to be he had years where he was an everyday catcher, but many more where he was not.
So one of them in the shipping container said Ramon Castro, and he said, "Can I say that?" And they said no. And he goes, "Well, why? You didn't go to the meeting? We have a no Castro policy in Miami. You can't say the word Castro at any time." For me, it would be Todd Pratt, though. That was my backup catcher. And Todd Pratt hit a walk-off against the Diamondbacks, and I think it was in the 2000 NLDS, but it was a playoff walk-off home run for a guy who backed up Todd Hundley and Mike Piazza in his career.
So Todd Hundley was one of my favorite catchers that never played for my team. I don't know why I love Todd Hundley.
It's my first favorite player.
Well, how about that? I didn't know that he was one of your favorite players.
Yes.
I don't know why. Why do we like Todd Hundley?
Well, I mean,
he was tough.
He was tough, but he could mash. He hit 30-some-odd home runs.
No, he did. He was on steroids.
It was before we got Piazza, and the first guy I actually really liked.
Oh, I know why I like Todd Hundley.
Was Eddie Murray, because he had his swan song "I'm Over the Hill" moment with the Mets, but every time he'd have some sort of.
But he wasn't a catcher. He was,
a milestone,
right?
My dad's like, well, he never really played for us.
Never really played for.
I didn't care. I was like, wow, this guy's one of the best ever. He's like, yeah, well, that's true. He is.
Yes, he is.
So I fell in love with him. But then the first one that I could watch from a younger age was Todd Hundley.
That's interesting.
I used to play with him, Ken Griffey Jr. baseball.
So Mel Ott's grandson, Ed Ott, if I've got this correctly, was a backup catcher for the Pirates when I was a kid, and I just remember thinking that was cool. I was like, "Oh, Ed Ott's up." So yeah, maybe that would be
one name that came up too. That for me is nostalgia central is Mike DeFelice.
Oh my God,
because he was on, I believe it was the inaugural Rays season. If not, he was on the Rays.
Devil
Rays early in their time as a franchise.
Wish they had just stayed with the Devil Rays, man. Anyhow, I'm just vetting. I'd like. Venting, I should say, is what I meant to mention. Somebody should hit Drake. It would be good TV. And because what are we doing? I just...
Right. Everything about that is what are you going to do about it, is what he's stepping to you. Because he knows you can't hit him.
He knows you can't hit him. And last night he makes the face at Draymond and he's yelling at him. What? You're Drake.
It's the one line from Rocky 5 that you can take with you, which is touch me and I'll sue. Then he hits him and goes, sue me for what?
Yeah.
Because he's broke.
But the problem is Draymond is certainly not broke. And Drake doesn't need the money, but it's just really, I want him to get hit.
Well, he could light him up and then just drop a wad of cash at him, on his jersey.
Well, the best thing would be to do what I often describe as I'm closing out. If somebody is off to the side, closing out. Oh, I've lost my balance. It appears I've smashed your face with my elbow.
He's got a voicemail on his phone, does Draymond. It's from one Mike Krzyzewski. I've got two names, Draymond. Grayson Allen and Dennis Gates.
Well, and I wanted, and Dennis Gates just took the high road there, even though we all knew exactly what happened.
Should have DDT'd him in one motion.
Oh, it would have been a beautiful thing. That's another guy I desperately wanted to see get clotheslined or something along. Certainly tripped. At the very least tripped, just as he was jogging down the floor. Oh, look at that. I tripped you.
Yeah.
What a shame.
XRM wasn't going to do it.
No.
He would have, pantsed him. That would have been the only thing he would have done.
The SEC has said yes, sir, to drinking. Now it's official, though. In the past, it was always just understood amongst its patrons outside the stadium. That's true of most conferences. But now, shick-a-dig-doo, you can drink in those stadiums, boys.
Hammered right after the game.
They have cleared the path for members to sell alcohol at sporting events. SEC presidents and chancellors approved by majority vote today at the conference's spring meetings to lift the ban on stadium-wide alcohol sales.
Hammered right after the game.
And during. The measure leaves it up to individual schools to decide whether to sell alcohol in general seating areas, although the conference maintains certain parameters. Quote, schools will have autonomy, said SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey. This is now an opportunity for institutions to make responsible and appropriate decisions. Oh, that's what it is. It's an opportunity for universities, institutions of higher learning, to make responsible and appropriate decisions. Or it's an opportunity to make more money. Let's just say that. It's an opportunity to make money. You didn't say, you know what I'd like to do, guys? Been thinking about it lately. Just hear me out. On the surface, it may seem somewhat irresponsible for the rednecks that attend our game to be given carte blanche to buy alcohol in general seating areas, where the peasants sit. And given their lack of education, things get unruly even when they're sober. Now imagine them being able to have access to beer throughout the course of the contest. This could be really ugly. So I know at first you're going to recoil at the idea. But in truth, I would like to see how these institutions handle the responsibility. It gives them an opportunity, wouldn't you say? An opportunity to make good decisions, to handle this kind of responsibility in a way that can be emulated by the other conferences throughout all of college football. That's what we're doing here today. We're voting on whether or not we should give these institutions the opportunity to make good decisions. You mean make more money? No. Good decisions, responsible decisions that will be the envy of the rest of the conferences.
In a way, though, it would be a responsible decision to take the $9 a beer from said peasant instead of allowing them to sneak the wild turkey in and spike their soda. Right?
I suppose.
I'll take their $9 so they're taking in less alcohol, density-wise.
I don't think it's going to stop them
from bringing the wild turkey in.
I think the wild turkey's still coming in, buddy. I think it's still coming in. Now, the decision was obviously expected, and schools have been preparing for it all along. They knew that approval was forthcoming. Quote, we already have been exploring the idea, and 2 schools in our state, Middle Tennessee and Memphis, are already selling alcohol at games, said Tennessee Athletic Director Philip Fulmer. To what degree and how it's implemented now, that's strictly to be determined at this point. The SEC had been the only Power 5 conference to prohibit alcohol sales in general seating areas. The conference allowed for alcohol sale and consumption in private or leased areas, such as the premium seats. Yes. Well, it was a matter of time. And
you haven't earned your beer. You're not allowed to drink beer.
Can't do it.
You're not rich enough.
We're taking the chance and the educated guess that if you're in premium seats, you actually got a degree from this institution and went on to utilize it.
You're not allowed to drink beer unless you spend, $1,500, $2,000 a year up front plus season tickets. In Georgia, I think the number was you had to be a $25,000
Is that right?
level donor.
Was that true?
To be able to go to a private terrace, but you had to finish your beer before you returned to your seats. So $25K is what it costs to be able to
will allow
drink.
you to go have a beer? What are we doing? Good Lord. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Well, I get into the game, but it's always the...
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Don't just trust any law firm to handle your case. Make the call to the bullpen for a trusted closer. To see our stats on the back of our baseball card, visit wrongfullyinjured.com. Fonville, Lewis, Messer, McConaughey. Personal injury law is all we do.
It's Ryobi Days at the Home Depot. Buy a Ryobi One Plus 2-pack battery starter kit for just $99 and get one of over 20 select Ryobi One Plus tools up to an $84 value free. The One Plus system also fits over 125 other Ryobi tools. So now going cordless is almost endless. Buy the battery kit, get a free tool. Ryobi Days now at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. Valid through June 19th, limit 1 per customer while supplies last. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts offers O-Rewards points in-store and online. Earn points on everything from replacement parts to tools and accessories. And for every 150 points collected, you'll get a $5 reward. Earn points any way you shop. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram is the Jeep headquarters of America. We've purchased over 100 Jeep Renegades, and they've all arrived and are on the lot for immediate delivery. 2018 Jeep Renegade Latitude with MSRP starting at $25,120. On sale now for $18,870. That's a savings of $6,250. A new Jeep starting at only $18,870. Those prices are unheard of and can only be found at your Jeep headquarters of America, Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. No other dealer can offer you this kind of savings. We buy in mass quantities and pass along the savings to you. 2018 Jeep Renegade Latitude starting at $18,870. Payments as low as $299 a month. On the corner of West Tennessee and Capitol Circle, where we're right on the corner and always right on the price. Check us out on the web at TallahasseeDCJ.com. All prices include rebates and incentives plus tax, title, and dealer fee. State number 18J605. Must finance through Chrysler Capital and qualify for all rebates and incentives.
Cigars of Tally is your one-stop shop for everything cigars. With 2 convenient locations, Cigars of Tally is here to serve you. The 1401 Market Street location is right off I-10 and great for travelers and after-work stops. The Midtown location, Cigars of Tally Lounge and Bar at 926 North Monroe Street, is great for those winding down from a long day. With the largest humidor in town, affordable cigar lockers, a large covered patio, and private conference rooms, there's something for everyone to enjoy. Cigars of Tally, open 7 days a week. Need cigars? Get your ash in here.
This is Lisa Brady. 17 years ago, I opened Lisa's Paint and Body to provide Tallahassee with an honest repair shop. Thanks to you, our customers, we have outgrown our current location and soon will be moving. Our new location is twice the size, easier access, state-of-the-art equipment, and the newest technology.
ASE and ICAR certified technicians. Personalized attention, guaranteed results. 2820 Mahan Drive. Call 385-2665. Lisa's Paint and Body Shop, MV46050.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. Warriors coach Steve Kerr now confirms Kevin Durant is out for Sunday's Game 2 of the NBA Finals. Durant still hasn't practiced. He has a strained right calf. The Raptors took Game 1 at home behind 32 points from Pascal Siakam. ESPN's Richard Jefferson.
This man goes 14 for 17, has 32 points, and only shot 2 free throws. That means that no one fouled him. That means no one sent a message. Like, this is the NBA Finals. There needs to be more aggression from the Warriors. There needs to be more push. There needs to be more intensity. I'm sorry, a wing player should not make 14 field goals and only have 2 free throws. That means that you're not hitting him enough. That means you're not physical enough. And that's just a problem. If we're going to talk about that, the Warriors they shot 50% from the field, 40% from the 3, and 85% from the free throw line, the Toronto Raptors did. And to me, that's just not good enough.
Richard Jefferson on Golick and Wingo. Game 2 coverage from Toronto starts Sunday at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio, ABC, and the ESPN app. New Green Bay Packers head coach Matt LaFleur will have surgery Sunday for a torn Achilles tendon. He got hurt on the basketball court at the team facility during OTAs. Number 2 women's seed Karolina Pliskova is out today at the French Open. Knocked off in straight sets by Petra Martic. Other winners today, Sloane Stephens, Madison Keys, Roger Federer, and Rafael Nadal. The NHL clears Capitals center Evgeny Kuznetsov after a video surfaced appearing to show Kuznetsov in a hotel room with white powder on a table. Troy Merritt is the leader right now in the second round at the Memorial. He shoots 66 today. He's at 9 under par.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's Libations Friday, brought to you by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Corner Pocket Bar and Grill on Appalachie Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio, but you know that. This from scheduling files. It's all you got, baby. It's all you got before you get into mid to late June. You just got to take what you can get. But I heard something, better yet, I read something, and it made reference to some of the schedules of college football that were the hardest this year. And we always love raising an eyebrow at a schedule that you look at and you go, well, what were they thinking? Usually, truthfully, and I got to give them credit for it, and they navigated it great last year. They caught a lot of teams that were down, including us. But Notre Dame's not afraid. I mean, obviously, they do things sometimes where you go, what in the world were you thinking? But I never have any real sympathy because just join the damn conference, man. All in. Stop dipping your toes. All in for football. Let's go. But they are on the, it's crazy. It's nuts. They are playing Georgia this year. They are doing all those things. But they play, Tom, because this piqued my interest and I went and looked. This is just absolutely unfair. I don't know what you can do about it, but they are literally taking on a number of teams who will be giving them their best shot coming off of a bye. 7 times they play somebody who's coming off a bye this year. 7 times. Here's their schedule. They have Louisville in the opener, which, whatever, I didn't know they were playing in the opener, but they'll stomp Louisville. Then New Mexico coming off a bye. Who cares? Whatever. It's New Mexico. But then it gets interesting. All right. So Georgia, Virginia, Bowling Green. Now think about this. They play Georgia, and Georgia's coming off of having played Arkansas State. They play Virginia coming off of playing Old Dominion. So that they might as well be playing off of a bye.
Absolutely.
Okay. Then they have Bowling Green off a bye, whatever. That's a win. Doesn't matter. Southern Cal coming off a bye. That'll hurt your feelings.
Where is that game?
That game's at Notre Dame.
Okay.
Then they play Michigan. Now, they catch a break here. They're playing Michigan, who the week before will have played Penn State. So that helps.
So they're coming off of USC and Penn State's playing Michigan the week before.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, equally difficult, right? Then they got to go play Virginia Tech off a bye. Okay. Then they've got Duke, which Duke's not terrible, and Duke's coming off a bye. I do respect Cutcliffe, the coach. They'll make that interesting. They won't beat Notre Dame, but they'll be in that game in the second half.
So what you're saying is take the opponent and the points against Notre Dame.
Well, if you are a gambler, Tom, you might be taking stock of these scheduling snafus the way that you are. I'm merely pointing some things out here about a disparity of schedule.
That's the conclusion I drew.
Navy coming off a bye.
Ooh.
Okay. Then they've got Boston College. You guessed it, coming off a bye. That game's always good, though. That game's always good. And BC's coming off a bye. Come on, Adazio.
He's got to be up by more than a touchdown late, though.
He does. And then finally, their last game, Stanford, and Stanford is not coming off a bye. That's brutal, man. Outside of Michigan's trip to Penn State prior to playing Notre Dame's not going to play a single opponent that played a nationally ranked team the previous week. And I guess, we could argue that's debatable because Trace McSorley's gone from Penn State. I don't know if they're going to be any good. But I think they probably are.
They should report this abuse to the Vatican.
That's nuts. 7 of their 12 opponents coming off a bye week?
That's the old Saban Steven Garcia treatment.
Yeah, and, that year he was right to bitch. And if I recall correctly, not only did Alabama have to play whatever that absurd amount of times against teams coming off a bye. Was it 8? Was something crazy like that? It might have been 6, but either way, it was nuts. They were all like road games at night. It was the worst thing. You're like, not only are they coming off a bye, that place is going to be sky high, including Steven Garcia.
Yes, he's as high as the atmosphere in Columbia,
roll,
South Carolina on a Saturday night.
He was ready to roll. So Alabama, for example, if you want to compare Notre Dame's schedule to another Power 5 team, elite team, whatever, even Notre Dame's not in a conference. Alabama plays 3 teams, Texas A&M, LSU, and Mississippi State, that will be coming off a bye week. So Jimbo's got what he needs going into the Alabama game. He's got an extra week. We'll see if it does him any good.
He wasn't really that good off a bye week, though, was he?
I never felt like he was elite off a bye week, but I could be wrong. I got to go back and look at it statistically.
I don't think he was very good.
LSU, yeah. So like I said, it's Texas A&M, LSU, and Mississippi State will be coming off open weeks next season while defending this upcoming season while defending the. I mean, that's. I'm looking 1, 2, 3. Clemson plays 2 opponents with extra time to prepare for them. Florida State, that's us. We get the extra week, and in South Carolina. Notre Dame is 10-1 coming off its bye week during Brian Kelly's tenure. So when they have a bye week, they're really good. Brian Kelly does a good job getting ready to roll after that bye week.
Wait, does this account, though, are any of these games in which Notre Dame gets a bye just as their opponent does? You know, Florida State, Clemson, most of the time they're on equal rest.
They're usually
LSU,
on equal
Alabama,
rest, yeah.
most of the time are on equal rest. Georgia, Florida, typically are on equal rest.
Yeah, I need to go back and look and see exactly how many times Notre Dame is. I just know that that's an absurd number of opponents to be coming off of a bye when you play them. 7. Oh, well, screw them. I don't care.
I agree.
That's awesome.
How were you treated in South Bend last year by the people?
Not well.
Yeah, same.
I got into an argument with a lady right when remember I told you she tried to imply that we were dumb because we didn't know where our seats were. We were looking.
No, I didn't hear this story.
Oh, I can't repeat it. What I said to her, and it was funny because Britton was walking with me. He's like, "Oh, okay," because I picked up on it immediately, and she didn't do a very good job of even being subtle. And so the second I felt condescended, I went, "Okay, that's what we're doing here." So then I said something, not rude. Then she knew that I knew, and she said something back, and then I went, okay, and then I said what I'm capable of saying.
Mm.
And the dude that was...
I didn't hear this story at all.
Oh, you should ask Matt about it. It was good. The dude that was sitting with her told her to stand down. It was like, you're wrong. You're wrong. You insulted the man. He asked you a question. Like, he was mad at her.
Yeah.
She had been drinking, and...
Somebody delivered what they thought was a barb to me, saying, could you imagine traveling all this way to watch Florida State? I said, well, in truth, the pictures and postcards are a lot prettier than this city. It's disgusting. Secondly, can you imagine not winning a national title for like 25 years and still showing up to sit outside in negative temperatures to watch your team? Because that's what you're doing.
And then that was the end of that
conversation.
That was the end of that
conversation.
That was the end of that conversation, indeed.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
$33.55 Capitol Circle Northeast, next to Ted's Montana Grill.
Take me out to the ball game.
Indeed. And with weather like this, it's good to see you out on this magnificent, sizable deck.
It is quite impressive. You can see it all the way from the stadium.
What a deck. What a deck indeed.
I hear that a lot.
You know, I remember, what was it, mid-90s you opened up? Place was so small.
Now it's huge.
All I know is a lot of good times have been spent on this deck. Man, people enjoy it. They laugh, they sing, they drink, they eat, and they celebrate all the goodness of the Gordo's deck.
And you can come have a Gordo Smash.
Delicious. Sitting on the deck with a Gordo Smash. That's a good day at the office.
Or put a Cuban in your mouth.
And other food. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996. We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show. Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Oh, yeah, we let it ride on a Libations Friday. About time to check out of here. By the way, when is Game 2?
Sunday, right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
It's well done. I didn't suspect that we'd get that lucky. I figured, you know how the NBA is. Oh, we got a game last night on a Thursday. We'll get you back on Monday. Come on, man. What are we doing? But I tell you what we did get. We got us a series, baby.
You're a believer.
Well, I believe, and I don't know if I noted this yesterday, that the only way that Toronto could win the series, well, in my mind going in, the only way they could win the series is to win Game 1, for starters. You can't lose the first game at home coming off of a 4-game winning streak against Milwaukee where you have all the momentum and you feel really good about yourself. First of all, that place is a cool place, and they love their team, and that is an impassioned arena, and they feed off that. And they got rhythm when they turned around the Milwaukee series by winning 4 straight. And now you've got role players, and look, Siakam's not going to do that again, but he might do it in Game 4. Kind of what we were talking about, right? They are this weird team now that they've got Golden State's attention. So let's see what happens, because here's the deal. If you're Golden State, you may grow a little concerned here because last night it was Siakam, but it was also Green and it was also Gasol, and it was Lowry didn't do a thing, and by Kawhi standards, he had an average to subpar game. He got to the free throw line a lot, and he played good defense because he always does, but he didn't have a great scoring game, and so you had that thing happen that we talked about where somebody else steps up and goes crazy and plays above their head. Now, Siakam had a real good year this year, but he played way above his head. Nobody thought he was going to do that in Game 1 of the finals. So now Lowry will have a game where he drops 30. He always does. So when's that coming?
Yeah. And VanVleet had 15, but he didn't, shoot the lights out. And so he's got a 6 or 7 3-point game in him.
Yeah. I'm telling you. So there's this weirdness going on with that Toronto team. You're kind of, did they begin to figure themselves out here?
So the breakout is, of course, last night was Game 1, but Sunday is Game 2. Yep. Then you go Wednesday, Friday next week when they travel out to the West Coast.
That's actually not that bad. So you're telling me that in the span of basically a week, you're getting 4 games? I'm kind of shocked by the NBA there.
Yes, but then you go Monday, Thursday, so no games over the weekend. So you go Monday, Thursday.
Why would you do Monday, Thursday?
And Game 7 of the finals would be 17 days from today. If it is played, it would be Sunday, June the 16th.
So I think a couple of things are really fascinating about what's going on here. Beginning to believe that Toronto, who dictated pace last night and played the game they wanted to play, that this is the best result for KD if he can come back. I suspect he's not coming back. I don't know why. It seems strange to me. I know there are inklings that he will be back, and they feel real good about him coming back.
He traveled. You think that's just gamesmanship that he traveled?
No, I think you should be with your team in the NBA Finals regardless. If you don't travel, you're an a-hole. I mean, what are you doing? Go be with your team.
Everything with KD's so binary over there.
But no, I didn't call him one. I'm just saying he traveled with his team. Good on you. You better. But I think no, it's you should definitely try with your team. No, I don't know. I mean, it's a calf. Those are problematic. If this were a hamstring, I'd say the same thing. I mean, those aren't things you play through. People talk about that. I mean, you can play through an aching shoulder or a non-shooting arm. Calf. Every time you jump.
Yeah, I think a week to a month is what they said in the past for his injuries and injuries like his. I mean, but a month. We got 17 days till Game 7 of the finals. I think there's a chance he plays in the elimination portion of the series.
I would say that if they had to have it, yeah. If they had won last night, maybe say they won the first 2 games, and he probably would have just said, forget about it. What's the point, right? I mean, remember, he's going into an offseason where he's going to get $200 million. You're not going to do anything to risk that.
You can play the fourth quarter at Game 4 if they're up 3-0 in the series.
just to have contributed.
Hits a basket and then says,
peace out.
Take me out.
Did my part. I find it all very fascinating now. Toronto does have momentum. I'm not going to overreact to Game 1, but they did kind of play that game the way they wanted to play that game. There's always the factor of the team that closes out too quickly, the way that Golden State did. There's too much time off. There's too much rust that can build up. I thought for a quarter and a half they didn't look right. They finally got right. By the fourth quarter, they looked like themselves. But I also thought that they've got some matchup issues that maybe you don't really know about until you get on the court and you look at it, about who's going. They appeared to me to decide to try to take Kawhi out defensively. They're what they were doing was with the traps and all of that was to take him.
And to put AI on him, obviously.
Yeah, and so you're going to take him out, and I think it's fascinating because that allowed for all those other role players to get involved and to feel good about themselves.
And they're not afraid right now.
No, and that's what winning 4 straight against Milwaukee did.
Well, and you think about some of the baskets that are scored.
Well, you get a couple lucky ones. VanVleet had a shot that's the dumbest thing in the world. Yeah,
and then there's one that's high off the glass from Siakam where it's like a jump hook over the middle.
Yeah.
And Gasol hits a couple of contested, little runners.
Yeah, there's some things that aren't going to continue to go in. That's one of those. Well, and you know what you just did there that I think is interesting because I think teams do this. I know I do this with my favorite team if it's mine, and I'm invested. Is you say to yourself, okay, it was one of those nights. They're going to do that. It's like when you're watching a baseball game and 6 numbers drop and you go, oh, well, we're not going to get,
I think it's
trouble.
A little A, a little B. I think you're right to say that, okay, if Danny Green's going to hit a couple of contested jumpers or
Danny
Gasol,
Green has been nowhere to be found the entirety of the playoffs, and he goes nuts.
Well, and for my money, again, he delivered the dagger in the fourth.
Yeah.
When they could have gotten it, Golden State could have gotten it within 2 scores. But while those guys are making shots, Lowry's gonna. VanVleet's gonna make more. So I think it's a little A, little B. It's like, all right, those guys go off fine, but they don't have to do that for more than maybe one more time between now and the end of the series.
Kawhi's going to have a 40-point game at some point if he's healthy. I still question whether he is. I don't know how healthy he is, man. He looks dicey to me. He looks
flat.
He looks like he's tired maybe, or he's playing through something with his leg.
He looks like gravity's stronger for him than other players.
Yeah, and you wouldn't have thought that because think back to the dunk on Giannis. I mean, that was vicious. And he rises, and it's quick and violent. And I was like, there's the explosiveness that, that's makes him elite. Wasn't there last night. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know with him if he's kind of having to do a Trent Forrest thing where he's...
Looks like it.
Yeah, where he's kind of just playing through some stuff, and some nights he feels better than others. What I love about him is he's always good defensively, and he was again last night. I mean,
and he can go in a hyperbaric chamber for 48 hours, get ready for game 2, and then do it again.
Yeah, we'll see. But so Lowry didn't shoot it well. I will give Lowry credit for this. He had 9 assists last night. He did other things well.
Played good defense.
He did. So these guys, Siakam, you get double digits from Danny Green. You get double digits from VanVleet. You get double digits from Gasol. If you would have told me going into this game that, first of all, if you'd have told me they were going to get anything from Danny Green, I don't know, what? Secondly, if you had told me that they were going to get all those other guys to have double, Gasol with 20? Okay, what are we doing here? I mean, that's
winning a series. That's what he averages.
Yeah. Hey, so I'm rooting for it, man. I'd love to see it. I mean, let it happen. I just think that last night at least gives us a series. If Golden State had gone in there in game 1 and just beat their ass, you'd be like, well, this is. We're done. Now the talk shifts to they're going to need KD. I tell you, they don't need. Stop putting Cousins out there. He was useless. Useless because he hasn't played. It's not his fault.
He's out of shape.
He's completely out of shape. He can't help you. The game was so fast, and in addition to all of that, he looked like he was overwhelmed. I felt bad for him in a way. He has, I heard this morning on Get Up. They were talking about if you factor in the injuries this year and then the one from last year, he hasn't played basketball in any way, shape, or form in 16 of the last 19 months. I don't know how you can expect much from him. It just doesn't look like he's going to be able to do much.
Kind of surprised he's as sleek looking as he is. Slender, I mean.
Let's do probables real quick and get out of here and get our weekend rolling, baby.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
Brewers, Pirates, Jules Sassin, Chris Archer. Boo. Drew Pomeranz goes for the Giants. The Orioles will throw Andrew Kashner. We got the Red Sox and the Yankees. Chris Sale, J.A. Happ, Nats, Reds, Patrick Corbin, Tyler Mahal. We got the Twins and the Rays. Woo, the Rays. Last night dropping 14 on the Twins. I was like, what happened here?
A little statement victory.
They won't drop 14 on Jose Berrios, who pitches tonight for the Twins. Brian Stanek pitches for the Rays. Tigers, Braves, Spencer Turnbull, Mike Fultonevich. We've got the Royals and the Rangers, Danny Duffy, Ariel Jurado. Indians, White Sox, Trevor Bauer, Dylan Covey. Cubs, Cards, Yu Darvish, Miles Nicholas.
Yes?
That's a full-hearted one. Blue Jays, Rockies, Edwin Jackson is still in the majors. Edwin Jackson. What in the world?
He was good down the stretch last year.
Well, he's 0-2 with an ERA over 9 right now. The Rockies will throw Herman Marquez.
There's no bearing on him being good last year.
I'm just saying. Mets, D-back, Zach Wheeler. John Damplantier. Cool name. Astros, A's, Brad Peacock. Mike Fires. All right. Angels, Mariners, Tyler Skaggs, Mike Leake. We got the Marlins and the Padres, Caleb Smith, Joey Lucchesi. Phillies, Dodgers, good game. Jake Arrieta, Kenta Maeda, and that is a look at those that shall reside on the bump. You were going to say?
A lot of West Coast baseball. A lot of West Coast baseball.
A couple cold beers on a Friday. Watch a little good baseball on the West Coast. I'm in. All right, time to sign off. Great job, Tom. Great job, Matthew. You guys, thanks for listening all week long. Be well. What's coming up tonight? Baseball?
Braves baseball
Damn
tonight.
right we do.
Tomorrow, Sunday.
Baseball, baby.
And then we got the NBA Finals Sunday night, Game 2. Coverage begins 7 o'clock right here.
First day of June is tomorrow. We are getting close. June gives me the goosebumps. It's football all the time soon, baby. Peace. Have a great weekend.